start today's recording. Here we go. So good morning, everybody. Good morning, Shakraya. All right. How's everybody doing today? Hey, Robert.
Morning.
How we doing? You guys have 2 more days of Ignite. How you feeling? Talk to me.
Feeling more confident.
Oh, good. That's what I want to hear. I love that. Thank you, Robert. That's a good thing, right? A little confidence builder. What else are you guys feeling?
I kind of want more.
You want more. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, so a couple things I want you guys to be aware of, just because you mentioned that. Number one, Ignite is open for every agent in Keller Williams. And my assumption is we're going to continue through with Oahu being a part of this. So you guys can always come back and take Ignite classes again. You can retake the entire course. You can retake sections. You know, let's say you're working your business, and we'll be running it in April again live. So let's say you're working your business now and you've really been working with buyers, and then suddenly, you know, March comes around and you're like, I want to focus on sellers. We'll come in and take Sellers Week, right? So you can come in and kind of drop in and take whatever you want. It's always open for you. And then you have access to the recordings for my Maui agents. Oahu agents, you guys will lose access to the Google Drive at some point, but we're going to be transferring the Ignite recordings into a classroom that you guys will have access to as well. So just so you know. All right, what else are you guys feeling? It's your last 2 days. Tell me. Morning, Patricia. I know this crowd well enough to know that the rest of you are not feeling nothing. So talk to me. Tell me how you're feeling. Last 2 days. Patricia, you're talking, but you're muted. Go ahead, Wesley, and then Patricia.
Hi. Of course, I'm hiding because I'm at the office. But hey, I've enjoyed it so far. I'm excited and charged up. My actual day job keeps getting in my way, so I'm ready to get rid of that and get out there and start making some business. And my 9-year-old holds me painfully accountable. Every day he walks in, he's saying, "Hey, Dad, did you figure out how to find business? Do you know how to find business? Do you know how to find business?" And I'm like, "Leave me alone, dude. I'm on it." But
I love that.
Ready to go.
You know, I actually recommend people with kids, because I'll get a lot of parents who'll go, you know, I try to work at home, but my kids are bugging me. And I'm like, tell your kids what your goals are, and then have them hold you accountable. And by the way, they get a reward when you reach a goal, because they'll literally walk up to you when you walk out of the room and go, did you get your 2 appointments? And you go, no. And they'll turn you around physically and shove you back in the room, shut the door on you. Like, kids are brutal accountability buddies, but I love it. That is the best thing, Leslie, because they will hold you accountable. They're just like, I want my reward, so you need to go get business, right?
I know. He's on the line of a spanking.
Hey, you know what? Good on him for being keeping you accountable, because you know that's a good habit, right? Accountability. So you can remind him of that when he's in his teens and not doing something he's supposed to be doing, and say, remember when you were 9? Well, now I'm going to hold you accountable, right? We're going to have some fun with this.
I like it.
Love it. I love that. What's nice for all of you is starting next week, you're going to be like, what do we do with our time between 9 and noon? Can anybody tell me what the answer to that question is?
Get myself
My day job.
I heard day job and organized. Nope, those are not the answers. What do we do between 9 and noon?
Contact.
Generation.
Lead generate.
generation.
Your number
Contacts.
one job. Until you lead generate and have leads, you have nothing. Rewatch my Ignite videos. You can also watch Ignite videos, Candace. That being said, some of you are going to have a tendency to want to just keep learning. Don't do that. You have to get out there and start doing the activities, right? If you don't do the activities, you will not have business. You will not have sales. You will not have income. If you're have money coming in and you don't have to make money, awesome, go do that direction, but not me. I'm not licensed yet. Yes, Candace, thank you. So it is all you can do until your license comes in. That is correct. How long has it been for you that your license has taken so far? Tell me when you got that paperwork in, Candace. Good morning, Anastasia. Good morning, Carrie Ann. All right. So Patricia, you were going to say something.
Oh, no, I was just going to say how you're feeling. And I just am feeling like I still need to just get my stuff organized and get like the command thing going. And just, I have a lot of stuff I have to do. I feel like.
Okay, awesome. And I totally appreciate that. And I love that you said that. And here's what I will say. If you wait to start your business until you get organized, guess what will never happen? You'll never start your business, right? Get organized while you work your business because it will force you. We tell you guys in your first 100 days sheet for the Maui people we give you, we talk to you about setting up your listing presentation. 99.9% of you won't touch it until the night before you have to go on a listing. And then you will get your listing presentation together. You'll be like, I have to, right? So forcing yourself is a really good way to get things done. So just remember, get the business and you'll get organized, right? Don't first get organized, then get the business, because it won't happen. You'll never get organized, right? I once heard I'm going to die with my inbox full, and that is definitely true. There will always be things on the to-do list, and I'm going to die that way. That's just how it's going to work in the world, and I have to accept that, right? So just be smart about that. All right, anybody else? How you feeling? We got 2 more days.
I wanted to share, well, first of all, I wanted to say that I'm really grateful to join a brokerage like Keller Williams, because not a lot of, I joined another brokerage before, and the level of training that they provided was nowhere near the training here at Keller Williams. So I'm really grateful for like all the coaches like you, Nicole, and everyone else who is teaching Ignite this session. But I do have to say, one thing that comes with being a real estate agent, like a new agent, and just everything else in life, it's been a struggle for me, just like keeping the mindset of, or like having a lack or doubt mindset, kind of, because I mean, that's a struggle that everyone has with being a real estate agent. Like, you don't know where your business is going to come from, or when, you know, when your next paycheck is going to come in. So I feel like that has been a struggle for me, just personally. I'm still working on like training my mindset to have, you know, an abundance mindset rather than being doubtful. But I am really grateful for all of the coaches and training and resources provided. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you for saying that, Cameron. It's absolutely our pleasure. We love to pour into our new agents, and we really appreciate all of you participating at a high level. And I will tell you that doubt, that sort of insecurity, you know, it's common. Do you guys have any idea why we start every day talking about bold laws?
Positive reinforcement.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is this is a mindset game, right? This is a mindset game. When you are your own boss, which in essence you all are as real estate agents, you're your own boss. When you're your own boss, you don't have to walk into work and put on a front, right? You can be who you are, and sometimes who you are is not feeling motivated. So you got to work on yourselves, right? I highly recommend a really quality morning routine, right? There's the miracle morning. There's, you know, lots of different ways you can set up your morning routine. How are you taking care of yourself? This is also a business that, if you're not careful, can suck up a ton of time on non-priority items. That's why we recommend that you guys read The One Thing. Really important that you read that, because it'll get you clear on what do you really want to be focusing on in your business. Because if you're not focusing on the top 20%, you're focusing on a lot of minutia, it will suck your time up like nobody's business. And what do we give up first when we don't have enough time? What's the first thing that goes out the door for most people when we don't have enough time?
Quality?
Self-care.
Self-care, yeah.
Self-care. So think about that. Yeah, I'll journal when I'm not so busy. I'll meditate when I have time.
I have a comment on that.
Yes, Robert.
So my bold law for this week was, if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist. And yeah, I actually found myself, if I didn't put things that I enjoy, like going and visit with friends, on my schedule, which was like the first time I actually saw my friend in 3 months, you know, it would never happen. So yeah, it's not just work stuff, but putting stuff like, you know, spending time with your kids, or, you know, cooking, or, you know, all the other stuff you don't think about besides work. That's it has to also be in the schedule.
Yes, I love that. right? If it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. You know what kind of things go in my schedule? Call so-and-so and plan lunch. That might be just a friend of mine I need to have lunch with. But I'm not just gonna, I don't actually carry a to-do list, you guys. I don't have to-do lists. Because if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. So a to-do list is not important, right? I take notes and then the notes go into the calendar. Because if I don't make space for it in my calendar, it's not important. So why have a list? Now I keep an idea list, but I break that out once in a blue moon and I keep it on my phone. And that's just if I have an idea that I want to maybe work on in 6 months, but I don't want it in my calendar because I'm not really sure if I want to do it. So yeah, if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. And the most important thing to be in your calendar is your personal life, a life by design. So make sure your personal life is in there. My personal stuff is purple. I love my calendar because when I look at it, I see all kinds of purple stuff. And I'm like, oh, there's all the fun things. And by the way, when I do the other pieces, then I go to the fun things and I can focus on the fun things and I'm not thinking about other stuff because it's all on the calendar, right? I'm not distracted when I'm with people, right? I'm not sitting in here with this class going, who do I have to talk to later? Honestly, I don't even know who my calls are. I know the next step after this is to have lunch. I don't know who the call is after that. Once I get prepped for lunch, I will look at who the call is after that so that I can prepare for that call. Right? But I'm only a step ahead and I don't have to think about all that stuff. Be too much in my brain to keep it all. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, it's not in your calendar, doesn't exist. Love it. Renata, yes, share with us.
No, I was going through the recordings of and you mentioned the wolf, the Cherokee saying. I just shared the saying. I love that one too.
I've got background, like it almost seems like your microphone's getting rubbed on or something.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Now I can. Say it
Okay.
again. Say what you said again.
I was going through the recordings of the Buyers Week, and you mentioned about the wolf, the Cherokee wolf saying,
Yes.
and I just shared on the chat because I really like that one, and I think it's related to what you focus on expense. So I just shared that because I really like that one. And it's
Thank
so
you.
cool.
Yes, that's what it is. Yes, she shared that. I mentioned that. I was like, I don't remember. I love sayings and then I butcher them. That's just me, right? If the bold laws aren't in front of my face, I don't remember what they are. But thank you for sharing it. Yeah, that's a really good one. What you focus on, right? It doesn't mean the negativity is not going to be there. It doesn't mean the doubt's not going to be there. It's what do I put my energy in? Because that makes such a difference, right? Okay, so going into the day, we are going to look at our bold laws, even though Robert got us started. Love that. You guys are so on it. Okay, let me share the sheet. And then I want to talk to anyone who hasn't shared their bold law. We're not going to do bold laws tomorrow because we're going to get right into our day because Michelle's going to be joining us. Or is she on at 9? Let me look. Yeah, she's starting at 9 with us, and I want her to give the whole time. So we're not going to do our bold laws tomorrow. We might in a little bit later, but I just want to make sure if we don't get it to them tomorrow, because my goal is to let you guys out early tomorrow because I'm nice like that. All right, so who wants to share their bold law?
I'll go first.
Go for it, Anastasia.
Sure. The first thing that pops out to me, I'm sure there's like plenty of gold over here, but focus on the plan, not the problem. So I'm like super big into solutions and you know, yeah, to solutions, and that there's always a solution to any problem, to most problems. And there's usually multiple solutions to any one given problem. But, you know, I think Patricia had said something like she doesn't feel really organized. And I think that's probably common because I'm feeling a little bit of the same. I'm like, oh, like I just, you know, I need to get more organized. And I think that what you said about like the one thing, how it's easy to waste time. Like that's probably the biggest thing for me is like, I need a plan. I need it to be in my calendar and I need some sort of structure. Cause like, I'm kind of the opposite of what somebody else had mentioned. Like I will always make time for self-care, but I need a plan to stand on and that foundation to stand on, an organization to stand on to succeed. Cause then I have the confidence that I'm actually doing something that is productive and that makes progress. And so I don't want to, you know, talk your ear off, but that one is resonating with me.
I love that. That's a great one. Absolutely. Love that. Thank you, Anastasia. And yeah, I mean, all of you, I think at this point, if you're new and you've been getting the emails and you've been getting everything, it's overwhelming. There is an overwhelm factor in everything that we offer you in the beginning. And that is absolutely true. And so I get a lot of agents who, when I meet with them, they're like, I feel like I'm not caught up. And I'm like, there is no caught up. This is your schedule. This is your time. Progress, not perfection. Put one foot in front of the other and just keep moving forward. That's what we're looking for, right? But what I don't want you to get caught in the trap of is the learning trap or the organization trap and not the lead gen trap, because without lead gen, no income is going to be coming in. And then in 60 or 90 days and you have no money, it's because right now you're not doing the lead gen, right? So we want to make sure we focus on that. Awesome. All right. Somebody else share with me their bold law for the week.
I can go.
Go for it.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a funny one. Complaining equals garbage magnet. So
yes,
this is a funny story. This morning I got up at 6:30 to get my son ready for school. And I was checking around the house, no toilet paper anywhere in the house. So I was like, oh, okay, I gotta scramble down the Walgreens real quick, thinking like, okay, I'll get this done real quick. But I was just grumbling the whole time, being super moody about it, you know, just like whatever, like how come nobody else got any? Why did they stock up? So I was just in the midst of rushing down there. I go and run in the store, grab two bundles of it, pay for it, get home, go to get it all set up, find out that it's paper towels. And I was just like, oh my goodness, man. And it things just started to spiral out of control. And I realized like, man, I should have just focused instead of complaining, did everything right. And it would have just went smoothly. But no, I just created a chaotic morning in my household. And now I feel really guilty about it. But it was a lesson learned, you know?
That's awesome, Tori. How many of you have had an experience where you're frustrated or flustered and then you end up just screwing up everything you try to do because you let yourself be in that state, right? That's the state you're in. So it just messes up everything else that's happening, right? Instead of taking a moment and like resetting, right? We're humans though. It's going to take a little while. The main thing, Tori, is you learn from it, right? As long as you learn from it, that's awesome. That's the lesson, right? It's like the next time that happens, you know, I always go back to the spilt milk. When the milk spills, what do? Do you get mad? Do you just calmly clean it up? Do you laugh? Right? Like there's different ways of responding to things, and a lot of it has to do with where we're at with other things as well, right? So usually when we're frustrated about a situation, it's not that situation. Usually when we're angry with someone, it's often not actually that person we're angry at. God, there was this great saying, and it was about emotions, and in a book that I have, and I want someone to come up with their next bold law while I look this up, because I think you guys would love this. It was such a smart saying, but somebody share with me. That's a great one, Tori. Thank you for sharing. Complaining equals garbage magnet. Yes, we're going to bring more trouble into our world. Who's going to share their next one with us? Who hasn't shared yet?
I like your business grows to the extent that you do, because I like to always think that we can literally grow every day until the day we die, like learn more, grow more. So I like to go into every day thinking, I don't know it all, because we don't. And just learn.
You don't know what?
We don't know it all, because we don't. So just making sure I have that mindset every day.
Yeah, just be open. Your business grows to the extent that you do. And remember, when you think about that, Carrie, and you think about learning, right? Right. I mean, you kind of you go to the set of learning. What I want you to challenge yourself, Carrie Ann, is your business grows to the extent that you do. How do we grow? So we do grow by learning, right? How else do we grow?
Experiences,
expanding our mind, right? There's so many ways we can actually grow. And a lot of us go straight to learning, but I want you to think about, how can you expand your mind? Right? When you think about your business and going to grow to the extent that you do, when you talk about your, that's called your financial thermostat, right? Your comfortable number, right? You've usually got a comfortable number, and generally it's something near what you've earned in the past. You start adding zeros, eventually you get to an uncomfortable space. right? But if you were to ask somebody who had a very successful business, they're comfortable with that number,
Hmm.
right? So
Getting
we have to,
comfortable with being uncomfortable.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, that too. Absolutely. It's like, oh, that feels weird, right? Like all
That's
of you
every
right
day
now,
for me, literally.
yep, all of you right now, write down an amount of money that you would be, you'd be like, I'm going to totally earn that my first year in real estate. Write that down. Write down the number that would be your goal to earn in the first year in real estate. Like, do it now. Whatever that is. Everybody got their number? Okay, so you got your numbers? Two people share with me, what are your numbers? Carrie Ann, do you mind sharing your number?
I said 30 grand because that's more than what I used to make. So I don't know.
There you go. I love it. All right, somebody else give me a number.
I said 150.
150, Bill? Okay. Now, every one of you, okay, so we've got Carrie Ann's, and I want you guys to take your number and I want you to add a 0. Okay. Did you add a 0? Carrie Ann, what are you at now?
300,000.
Yep. Bill, what are you at now?
0.5.
Say that again.
1.5.
Okay. Awesome. Carrie Ann and Bill, how do those numbers feel?
Good.
4.
Okay. Right? Reality. Everybody add another 0. So Carrie Ann, what's your number now?
3 million.
How's that feel?
Unreal.
Okay. Bill, what's your number now?
15
15 what?
million.
And how's that feel?
Excessive.
Okay. All right. Add another
I never
0.
I never really cared about being rich. I just want to be comfortable and be able to do good charity as well.
Okay, so now the excuses are showing up, which is awesome. That's limiting beliefs showing up, because if I handed you $15 million right now, Bill, I'm sure you could go out and do amazing things in the world with that money. Amazing things, because you got a big heart. I bet you can make big difference in the world. But see, that's what will happen. First of all, it'll feel unrealistic. Then it'll start to feel greedy. But remember that saying that we talked about, where I said that your comfort is not the bar? This is where this comes in, right? So we have to think about what we want to work on for numbers wise. I mean, if I handed you $15 million, Bill, what would you do with it?
After I bought my Bugatti.
Okay, so you buy a Bugatti. Okay, yes, there you go. What do those cost?
Well, the one I want is 3.5 million.
Okay.
Wow.
So that would leave you with 11.5 million. What would you do with the rest?
Basically, I would start my my 503c, which would be home remodeling for wounded warriors.
And for anybody who doesn't know what a 503c what is that, Bill?
It's a charitable organization.
It's a charitable organization. So Bill would give back.
Bill, that's awesome. So I like that.
Yeah, I've been planning to do this for several years. I just need to have the financing in place to do it.
So out of curiosity, Bill, does any of that sound greedy?
No, of course not.
Okay. So you can do that, right? Now, some other things might show up. Anybody else having other things that they're like, that sounds like what might be a limiting belief?
Mine is like, I need it to be realistic. I never fall into the greedy thing. That's not something that pops up for me. Like I would start a retreat center. I would take care of the people that I love, I'd set myself up to be comfortable, like Bill, like you said, and you're a homeowner proudly, and I would be a homeowner myself. I suppose I will be, actually, because that's going to be a goal of mine, but mine is like, I need to see it. Because again, it comes back to that foundation of like it's easy to dream for me, but like I need to do it and I need to see it. And I'm definitely a doer, but again, it comes back to that structure for me. So I just need to know that what I'm doing is productive. So that's
something tangible.
Yes, like I don't want it to be talk. I want it to be real.
Okay. So Anastasia, you did say something that I want you to acknowledge as a limiting belief. And you said, I need to be realistic.
Well, it just has to be real. In other words, like I can't just,
But that's a limiting belief. So
It's
just
not,
remember,
though.
yeah, that's
I
okay.
need to make it real is what I'm
Just
saying.
acknowledge it's a limiting belief, right? You said the words, I need to be realistic.
Well, I need it to be real. Yeah, I need it to be realistic.
Mhm.
Like I need it to
Okay.
be tangible.
So does that mean you have to like, what's your number right now, Anastasia?
It'd be 1 million.
Okay, so
Oh, sorry. My number's 100,000. So then it would be 1 million, and then it'd be whatever comes after that.
10 million. So
Yeah.
your number's 10 million. So what would make it realistic? Would it be me introducing you to somebody who made 10 million in real estate last year?
Well, it's not that I can't conceptualize it. That's easy. But what I mean is just like me actually earning the money to make those steps. So like, yeah, if you introduce me to somebody like that, that'd be great. I'd ask them if they were looking to buy, sell, or invest.
They're real estate agents. They already made that money in real estate. That's what
Oh,
I'm
that'd
saying.
be great. Yeah. I
That's
mean,
what
I'd
I'm
love
saying.
to talk to people more successful than me. I definitely, I'm definitely into that kind of improvement.
You know
Yeah,
what?
so actually, I hear what you're saying, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it takes a minute to come around to our limiting beliefs because to us, they're not beliefs, they're truths. So just remember that. A limiting belief feels like a truth to you.
Well, mine is not that I don't think that I can make that. It's just that I need to do it. So like,
you have to do it before you can believe
would
it.
be helpful.
Okay, because when you say I have to do it to believe I can do it, that's backwards.
I've definitely like done the whole Tony Robbins thing. Like I know that I'm capable of making that amount of money. It's just like, a lot of people talk and not a lot of people do. So it's just like, I just need to do it. And then it's like, okay, then yeah, I just need to like start making money, in other words. And I think what's also getting me is like the person that I had lined up to buy a house.
Mhm.
She recently talked to her boyfriend and like, they're basically not going to buy a house. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like I gotta talk, I have to make it real by expanding my network and getting organized, I guess. So
Expand your network and lead generate. That's how you got to make it real. Lead generate.
Yeah.
See, success is simple. It's just not easy. Because what we'll tell you, and that's a bold law, we'll tell you is you need to sit down and you need to make phone calls for 3 hours, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday of next week versus coming to Ignite. And most of you won't spend that time doing that. That's where the not easy comes in, right? That's where the work comes in. That's where your grit factor is going to either show up or not show up, right? That's just the reality. All right. You think 100,000 would be
can I
ideal?
offer something real quick? And I don't want to, if anybody wants an accountability buddy, I am here. I think I exchanged numbers with one person on this call. But if anybody else wants to reach out and give me their number, I had posted my number previously, but nobody actually reached out to me. So if anybody's interested in just being an accountability person, like I'm down for that.
Awesome. So do that in the chat. And then also just make sure you guys know that the Monday, Wednesday, Friday is script practice. By the way, also an indicator of your success, how you speak. And we know who's been showing up and who's not showing up. So are you showing up and practicing your scripts? Are you getting good at your dialogues? That's all conversions, right? So if you want to be a producer of, even if you just want to be 300,000, you have to start showing up and getting great at your craft, because you will not make $300,000 if you're not a really good real estate agent and know what to say in all scenarios. That's just the reality, right? So that's part of the learning as well. Love that. Yep, that happens, you guys. You're going to actually get to the point where you fire people and you're good with it. Trust me, that's what happens. All right, Candace, yes.
Just referring to the scripts, I noticed there wasn't any scripts in the Ignite folder as to how to handle your first call or your initial call when you make first contact. Like, is there any scripts on that?
Yeah,
somewhere?
absolutely there is. There's a first call. Yeah. I'm not sure where you're looking, but you actually have those in your Ignite binder in the lead gen week. I think the first day that we did lead gen was also in there. But yeah, there are absolutely hi, I'm new to real estate calls. It's called new to real estate. So look up new to real estate in there. And there's a lot of them. That was the one where we broke it down, where it offers, first you offer your app, then you offer your neighborhood nurture, then you ask them if they have a referral for you. And I said, I would recommend the first call you offer your app, and then the next round you offer the neighborhood nurture, because I think there's a lot to offer at once. Feels heavy, right? So that's the one we talked about. That's the great first call. And remember, that starts with the forward, right? If you need to practice your forward, I mean, you can go into the script practice and say, I want to practice forward, and I want you to give me some clues, and let's see if I pick up on them, right? Am I picking up on the clues? Because that's when you get really good at it. Yeah, and everybody has people cancel on them, not buy things. When you guys have one person in your pipeline, that's painful. When you have 40 in your pipeline, it's business, right? This is why we want a certain number of people in your pipeline. When we go through the economic model, when we're doing the business planning foundations, you guys will get a chance to break down how many conversations you actually have to get the appointments you need to get the results you're looking for in income. Because as you go down the pipeline, we lose people, right? That's how it works. This is business. So we're losing people in the pipeline. All right, so I'm going to share this with you. So this is our pipeline. This is where we're leading, we have leads, we have contacts, we're getting into cultivating them, appointments, active, under contract, and closing. All spots where you have attrition, right? Your numbers are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. When we do that economic model, we're going to break that down for you based on what we know those attrition rates to be. So you guys will have an idea. Now, what I want all of you to do for the next few weeks, because we're going to have those business planning foundation classes starting February 28th. It's just going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's going to be 4 days. And the way that's going to work is it's going to be 11 o'clock to 12:30. So it's going to be 11 a.m. to 12:30. So eat after or have your lunch while you're learning. 11 to 12:30, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's 4 days, and that's going to be your business planning. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. That is going to be much more valuable if you, and I'm not speaking to those that aren't licensed, but those that are licensed, if you spend the next 3 weeks on the phone and generating for leads with your database.
What's the name of that class, Nicole?
Business Planning Foundations.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's where we're going to be going through Big Y, economic model, GPS, and 411. That's your business plan class, right?
How do we sign up for that? Or where do
Yeah,
we?
exactly.
You're gonna get an email.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys will get an email. We wanted to get you through Ignite first, but I just letting you know that those are the dates and that's when it's going to happen. So we'll be
And
sending you
the dates are when again?
February 28th, March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 to 12:30, hour and a half each day. Now, why do they start at 11, not 9?
Because you're lead generating until 11
Yes.
o'clock.
Thank you, Bill. These are not tricky questions, you guys. These are not tricky questions. You got it. Awesome. All right. So today we're going to be talking about open houses and social media. We're going to start with social media and have a conversation about social media, you guys. All right. So social media sucks, Bill.
Oh, sorry, I forgot my microphone was.
I knew I could bust you on that one.
That's
He's
hilarious.
like, oops. I knew you didn't know you were on, but I thought that was funny.
We'll compliment each other. Bill, you're good at the tech, so you can help me, and I'm good at social media, so I'll help you.
There you go. All right. So we're going to talk about social media.
Sounds good.
We're going to do an overview of social media. We're going to talk about, what we recommend, a little bit about legality and compliance. We'll do some do's and some don'ts of social media. We're going to talk about, how do you lay out a plan for social media? And then we're going to actually break down a couple of the platforms and what we recommend or what is recommended for the amount of posting. Now, I want to start with the fact that I kind of consider social media the wild, wild west. There's a lot of people that have figured out how to be really successful in social media. A lot of them do things different, right? A lot of them don't follow the set way of playing with social media. And sometimes they do things that are unique. So I want you to know that we're going to talk about social media, but it's still learning, right? And I want you to follow the direction that works for you. So the first thing I want to discuss with you guys is, and this falls under the prospecting, right? Prospecting, when we're looking at the lead gen model. So be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. We talked about this. So prospecting is going to be door knocking, agent to agent referrals, open houses, and social media. So we're going to talk about open houses and social media. Now, first of all, when it comes to social media, we got to select what we're going to do. We got to seek out content, share it, and then we've got to service what comes through, right? Because here's the thing, don't post and ghost. Post and ghost is the worst thing you can possibly do. Now, one of the other things that I really like to talk about is business versus personal. Now, are you a business owner? Are you guys business owners?
Yes.
Yes, you are 100%. In your business, are you selling yourself?
Yes, in a way.
Are. Yes, you are. Absolutely. Guess what? If I don't buy you first, I'm not going to buy a property from you or have you sell my property. I have to buy you first. So there's sometimes rules with business owners where you don't want to post personal. That's not so much true in real estate. And as a matter of fact, we recommend you be more personal in your real estate postings because people need to fall in love with you first before they're going to go with you and fall in love with the house or have you sell or have you help them, right? So I want to talk about the personal. So this says 80% personal, 20% business. So somebody give me an example of what might be a business post.
Like
A listing that you have for a house.
Okay. A listing you have. All right.
A market update.
A market update. Yep.
Open house.
Open house. Yep. By the way, I would say a listing, not necessarily has to be a listing you have, right? I used to go to Caravan and I would actually take videos of the view, which by the way, you don't need anyone's permission to take a video of the view. You do need permission to take a video of the inside, right? So I would take the view and say, guess what this view costs? And I'd let people guess, right? Engagement is important, but that's a business post because I'm talking about real estate. What else might be a business post? Any other ideas?
Oh, testimonials, right? So I feel like I sold this property, a success story.
Yeah, success stories, absolutely. By the way, I got a tip that I thought was wonderful. When you're writing success stories, make it about what the person overcame, not just rah, rah, we sold a house or rah, rah, we bought a house, right? What was overcome and how did you help them overcome it? Stories sell, right? So what's the story that you can share? Always with your client's permission, right? So think about that. So those are business. All right, in the 80% personal, here's my recommendation. I recommend you do 40% passion and 40% personality. Okay. So think about that. Passion versus personality. What's passion? What's a passion post? Give me an idea. Any ideas?
Dogs, pets, kids, yoga, food.
Any business that you like or support would be a passion post, right? Very popular nowadays to focus on businesses, right? That's passion. Now, what would personality be? Any idea?
Skydiving.
What'd you say?
Skydiving.
Skydiving.
Personality.
What'd you say, Catherine?
No, you're asking about personality, right?
Yep.
That couldn't be skydiving, but I think you can talk about like ethics and hard work in some form of a story or event or something that happened to you. and how hard you work for someone.
You could.
I have to somewhat disagree with that. I think skydiving would be that as well because it shows
Daring.
thrill seeker, daring, something like that.
Right.
Action,
That's
action,
true.
adventure.
That's
and,
true.
And some posts will cross over passion and personality, right? What I want you to understand is the passion piece can go into, you know, featuring what things you like versus yourself involved in those things, right? Here's what a lot of you are going to do. You're not going to want to touch on personality. You're going to want to be behind the scenes. You're not going to want to stand out. And you think that everybody's watching you with a microscope, which is not true. First of all, they want to know you, flaws and all. If you need to write that down, write that down. Flaws and all. The more, it's very interesting when you look at social media, and actually the more flawed you are, sometimes the more people follow you. Being real, being you, right? How do you show up in the world? Show the personality piece. Don't be afraid of that. By the way, don't be afraid to put your personality in your business posts too, okay? So I want to talk to you guys. I want to tell you a little story about a gentleman named Jonathan Udis, right? And I was talking to, I think it was Bruno. Were you and I talking about Jonathan? And I said, yeah. So I'm going to tell you this story. So does anybody know Jonathan? He's in Maui.
I do.
Yes. Okay. So let me give you an example of Jonathan Udis. So every time I bring up his name, my husband's like, who is he again? And I go, he's the guy at the Christmas party that was wearing the Santa suit. Now, when I say Santa suit, you guys think of looking like Santa. No, he was wearing a suit, like a three-piece suit with little pictures of Santa all over the suit, right? Jonathan is a character. He is the coolest, most loving, most awesome guy. So he goes into a house, and this was, I want to say it was like $5 or $6 million. And he's like, I'm going to sell this house. So he asks the listing agent, can I do a video on this house? And he does a video on this home, and I loved it. What he does is he walks you through the whole house, and then he walks you into the bathroom, and it's got this huge walk-in shower. And he goes, the coolest part about this bathroom is this shower is not just a shower. It's a portal to anywhere in the world you want to go. Come on, you guys, let's check it out. Like, he is like straight up serious. I loved it. I was like, he is a goofball, right? He's the dude who's over at Burning Man and stuff. Like, he's a total goofball. He posts this video, sold the house. Being Jonathan, being himself, being a goofball, sold the house, changed his life. Because he showed up as who he was, didn't try to be everybody else. Didn't say, oh, look at the beautiful tile on this shower. No, he's like, this is a portal to anywhere in the world. Come on, you guys, let's go check it out. It was hilarious, right? Who does that on a $6 million property? Would you guys think to do that? Because I know I wouldn't. I'd be like, I gotta be like straight up, right? And professional. No, he was Jonathan, and he sold that house. Closed on it exactly 1 year later from the point when he said he was gonna sell it. It was very cool. But he showed up as him. See, a lot of you are going to want to show up as the box that you think a real estate agent lives in. Stop it. Because that's not how you find your tribe. That's not how you find who you are. And that's not how you love your business if you're pretending you're somebody else. Because that gets annoying.
Nicole, what's his last name?
Jonathan Udis, Udis.
Udis. Okay.
Yeah, you got to see. He sends out a newsletter. I love his newsletter. He's like a total hippie. I love him. And he runs so in Maui, he's the one who, if you come to the company huddles on Wednesdays, he runs he's on the ALC and runs, I can't remember the name of the committee, but he's the one who has the, everybody pledging to every transaction will give, $1 to KW Cares or $5 to KW Cares or whatever it is. He's very passionate about helping people. He's one of the coolest people you ever meet. But that guy lets who he is infuse in his real estate business. And he has done amazing because of that. Because he didn't shy away.
Have you ever seen somebody go too far though? Like turn their business profile into like a I don't know, like a weight loss thing or like I'm sure you can go too far too, like into a relationship dumping.
Well, okay, so the rule used to be, we don't talk politics or religion on social media, right? I actually still live by those rules. I don't talk politics or social media politics or religion on social media. They're just things I don't do. There are people that completely break that rule and create their tribe. Yes, he is an actor at the Yacht Theater, Catherine. Yes.
I know him well, yeah.
Yeah, he's so awesome. But there are people that break that and they go, look, in the last, we're in a polarized political forum, right? That's where we are right now. And there are some people who was like, I am a staunch Republican Trump supporter and I'm going to blast it all over social media. And they built their tribe with that. And then they had people going, I am a Democrat and I am, totally anti-Trump and I'm going to build my tribe that way. And they built their tribe that way. I think that's scary just because I don't like people mad at me. But that's what some people did. They chose to actually dive deep into their beliefs and build their tribe through those polarizing beliefs. So like it or not, that has worked for some people. So how you go about it is up to you. So I'm not going to say do what I do. I'm going to say do what works for you. Right? I have a core belief that our polarization is the biggest problem in the world. So I can't go that direction because I just can't embrace that. But that's me and that's my choice. You guys have to decide what you want to do. So sometimes, yeah, people get extreme in their beliefs and that's how they find their tribe. So I'm not going to say don't do it. I'm going to say it's up to you. There are people who've done that. All right. Let's talk a little bit about social media do's and don'ts. Okay, so here's some do's. Somebody read me the top 4 do's. Someone, I'm tired of talking. You guys need to talk with me.
Have a plan before you start.
Mm-hmm.
Create measurable goals.
Mm-hmm.
Be consistent. And build a strong network.
Yeah, read the be consistent.
Keep your message on target and stick to your brand. Stick with business messages only.
Right. So that's the one I disagree with. I actually think we need to bring in the personal piece, just an FYI. But okay, so number 1, have a plan, right? Don't do this randomly or haphazardly because you won't do it well and it will be a mess. By the way, if anybody wants to look at my social media, it's a mess and I don't do it well. I only do it personally. I don't do it for business right now. I just don't have the bandwidth and I don't want to hire somebody. By the way, you can hire someone. So create measurable goals. What does that look like? What's a measurable goal?
Call X amount of people today or spend this amount of time.
Right. It could be.
I'm going to earn this much.
Right. So goals are the results we want from the actions we have. So the plan is the action, the goals are the results, right? So what are the goals? That I can get, 3 people to DM me and discuss real estate every week, right? Or whatever. I don't know what it is for you. So the plan is, what am I going to do? What actions can I control? And the goals are, what results am I looking for? What happens if I don't get the goals or the results I'm looking for? What do I do? What do you do? If the outcomes aren't happening, what do you have to do?
You have to
Adjust your goals.
Or adjust the formula.
Yeah.
So I want you to go back to the plan and look at the plan.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm saying I want 3 people to be private messaging me and discussing real estate because they're interested in real estate, and I have 1 person, I need to go back to my plan. There's something I'm not doing. Maybe I'm not doing enough platforms. I don't know. I've got to look at what my plan is, right? The plan is what I control. The goals are the outcomes I'm looking for. If they don't mesh, we got to go back to the plan, right? Okay. So be a good social citizen. We just talked about that. Or be random and bad and find your tribe. Be consistent. Very important. You do need to be consistent. All right. So somebody read me the 4 on the bottom.
Give
Give
great content.
No, go ahead.
All right. Give great content that your network will share. Build a strong network. Be engaging, communicate regularly with your network, and be a good listener. Hear what your network is telling you.
Yeah, super important. Bill said, to quote Mike Tyson, at the height of his boxing career, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, which to me means that when you have, which to me means that's when you have to adjust your plan. Yes, absolutely, right? Love it. Okay, so give great content with that your network will share. So I want you to think about that. What do people want to share? What's information people want to share, right? By the way, sometimes people share funny stuff, right? Are you posting funny stuff? I love some of the real estate funny stuff. Man, some of the real estate jokes are hilarious. So give great content that your network will share. Build
So just don't share clips from the money pit.
Clips from the money pit. What's the money pit? What does that sound familiar?
Did you, the Tom Hanks movie from like the 90s?
No, I think that'd be awesome. Why not? Like, who remembers this movie? Yeah, I'm a realtor. Right? I would love that, because that would totally, all the older people. Absolutely. I was thinking that was like a blog or something. Yeah, that movie was hilarious. If you guys haven't watched it, that's a funny one. Build a strong network. Absolutely. The stronger your network is, the better. Be engaging, communicate regularly with your network. Like we said, consistent and engaging. If we're not engaging and consistent, we're going to have an issue. And be a good listener. Now, hear what your network is telling you, right? Your network will tell you what information they're craving, and your network, by the response, will tell you what information they engage with. Pay attention to it, right? That's being a good listener. Absolutely. Make sense to you guys? Okay, let's talk about a few do nots. All right. Somebody read me all of these.
Build your network too quickly. Besides diluting your network, you could be banned from the site. Rely on one application. Each application has its own strengths and weaknesses. Be pushy. People will not respond well. Remember, everyone connected to you sees what you write. Spam social sites. Forget to thank people when people promote you to the when people promote you to their network. Be overly polite. Try and sell people. Allow your network to discover what you do. Use generic marketing techniques. Make it personal. One size does not fit all.
Yep, absolutely. So my biggest do not on here is number one, be pushy. And number two, try and sell people. You don't have to be pushy, and you don't have to try and sell people. Show up in service and people will reach out to you. Those are big ones for me, right? And then I would say,
used car salesmen.
What'd you say, Bill?
So we all hate used car salesmen.
Oh my gosh, right? And then don't, always thanking people. That's a really important piece. So these are some good do nots. All right, now these are actually in your sheet. So we're going to talk about these three platforms: Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So here's how I would describe Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, because they are, different platforms, right? So first of all, a little bit of history. Do you guys know the majority of who is on Facebook and how it blew up?
Well, it started as a college site for college students only, which
That's
then
correct.
opened up to the public.
Correct.
For the most part now, it's mainly Gen X and above that's on Facebook. Zennials and millennials have abandoned it for the most part. Absolutely.
And that's because it became the site where grandma could see her grandbaby's pictures. That's what blew up Facebook. Is it connected older generations to the younger family members that didn't live near them. That's how Facebook actually blew up, which is kind of a good thing in our markets. because income level tends to be higher in the older people. So Facebook's not a bad way to go. So here's your Facebook. This is your plan. Find and like 5 pages. Okay. Comment on 2 pages a day. Comment. 2 posts a day. I would say 1 related to your brand and 1 personal. And by the way, we're talking about your professional page or your personal page. You decide which direction you want to go. We'll talk about the compliance in a minute. Always include a call to action. So we do remember what a call to action is. Comment, like, share.
subscribe.
Right, subscribe, exactly. Add hashtags so your posts appear on trending topics. Pro tip, don't forget to tag people and pages in your posts. Now, here's what I will say. Do not mass tag. There is nothing that ticks people off more than mass tags. I used to have someone who posted memes all the time, and he would mass tag like 50 people, me being one, and every meme he put out had a misspelling. And it used to tick me off to no end, and I lost complete respect for him. I was like, why are you tagging me on all your memes? And I mean, consistently, at least twice a week. It was annoying. Don't tag people if it's not relevant to them, right? Only tag them if it's relevant to them. Okay, Twitter. And by the way, I'm no expert to Twitter on any level. Twitter is a little bit more like the news, right? It's the shorter, I never really got into it, so never really understood it. Here's the recommendation. 3 new tweets a day, can be business related, fun, social, promotional. Try to amplify your followers' communities. Add hashtags so your posts appear on trending topics. 2 retweets a day, right? So you retweet people twice a day. Follow 10 new people a day. Pro tip, add comments with retweets. Example, awesome, retweet. Crowdsourcing uncovers new cancer killing compound, right? So that's your Twitter pro tip. All right, the last one we have is LinkedIn. Now, I consider Facebook kind of like a social gathering with friends, maybe some people you know, maybe some people you don't know. I consider LinkedIn more of a business networking event, right? So I want you to think of LinkedIn as a business networking event. So here's the tips for LinkedIn. Connect with 3 to 5 new people a week. Follow 3 new companies a week. Request 1 to 2 new recommendations a week. Repost all blog posts on your newsfeed and post a relevant industry news item on newsfeed with a call to action. So LinkedIn is the exception where you do want to keep it professional, right? It is, you know, think about, would I talk about this at a business networking event, right? That's where what you want to ask yourself when it comes to LinkedIn. Facebook, more personal, right? Twitter is going to be your news flash, quick, fast. Now, what I want to clarify is I do not want you guys going out and going, okay, so I'm going to do Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, right? No, you're not. Start with 1, build it. Now, if you do start Facebook and you do Instagram with it, that's fine because you can cross feed. Just make sure you know how videos cross feed because they don't always feed the same. So you're going to pick 1 to 2 to start with, because you got to get good at your social media before you can add more platforms. All right. So let's talk about Pinterest. Who's familiar with Pinterest? Okay. Now, here's what I will tell you about Pinterest. Pinterest is actually kind of interesting and could be a great source for a real estate agent. So create a new pin board relevant to your business every week and tweet about it. So Pinterest is basically, here's the way I explain it. If you had a cork board and you were posting up like, oh, I like that, and I like that, and I want to buy that, and I want to get that, and I want to do that to my house, that's Pinterest, okay? So create a new pin board relevant to your business every week and tweet about it. Allocate 15 to 20 minutes a day to add to your existing boards. Encourage followers to pin to your boards. Allow 3 to 5 new pinners a week. By the way, Pinterest started as a wedding site. It was for like brides to go in and like get ideas for their weddings. I actually spent a good amount of time on there. It's got great ideas for construction and building. Pro tip, always use appropriate keywords and hashtags in your pins, boards, and descriptions. So that's Pinterest. Okay, now let's talk about Instagram. Now, Instagram is, at the party you're having with all the old people and the young people at, auntie's house, and you guys are all there, and then the kids go in the backyard and have their own party. That's Instagram, right? That's the kids having their own party. And do the adults go out and say hi and talk to them? Yep, they do, but it's their party. But you're going to go in and talk to them anyway, right? The invasion is happening. The adults are coming out and joining the younger crowd. So Instagram, post 1 photo per day. Use appropriate hashtags in your descriptions. Follow 10 new people a day. Comment on 5 follower posts a day. Like 20 to 30 of your followers' images per day. Tag the location of your photo when applicable. And pro tip, try to use these images on all platforms. Link back to the community whenever possible. Now, the one thing about Instagram, it's so photo heavy, right? I mean, that's really, Instagram's very photo heavy. We have a lot of access to generally a large amount of beautiful photos living where we do. Would everyone agree to that? I mean, can you not pull up your phone right now and probably pull up 5 absolutely gorgeous pictures, right? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm snapping pictures all the time living on Maui, right? I mean, these are beautiful islands. So we have a lot of great photos. Instagram can be an awesome place to build with our photos, right? Foursquare. Don't ask me what Foursquare is. I don't even know what Foursquare is. Does anybody know what Foursquare is?
First time I ever heard about it.
Okay.
It used to be a very popular thing to check in back in the days. It's a location service, like you would check into a place and then you would leave reviews. Then Yelp became stronger, and now
Kinda
Yelp
took it
took
over.
Yeah. but
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
that's,
it's
I thought Yelp replaced it, but I was like, Foursquare, I don't remember it. I was not involved in that at that point. So we're not even going to talk about it. But so Yelp is another platform you can look at. There's a lot of people rebelling against Yelp at this point, but it's still something a lot of people use. Are you on Yelp? Remember, we talked about claiming your business on Google. Make sure you don't claim the market center as yours, but making sure you claim your business on Google. And you can do, I believe, the same thing on Yelp. I just know that Yelp has some questionable things at this point. So I don't think it's something you need to focus on, but if you want to, you absolutely can. All right. So hold on a second. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about social media as far as, and I can only speak to Maui as far as your compliance and legality. So you're going to definitely have to have, if you're on Maui, you're going to have Michelle review your Facebook business site and make sure all of you that you have all the components, right? And just like any marketing, you have your RS number, you have your license name, right? Your information has to be in there on your professional page. So you've got to make sure if you're on Maui that you send that information directly to Michelle, and just send her a link to your professional page and just have her check it, right? She's going to make sure you've got all those marketing components. And those components are all listed in the drive, remember, under the marketing and compliance. So let's take a look at that really quick so you guys can see that. And I'm assuming you guys, sorry, lead gen and marketing, because it's marketing compliance. I'm assuming the Oahu's going to have the same rules. I'm just not sure. You guys are going to have to see who approves your page when you're going to list it, right? So find out who approves your page. So we're going to go into the lead gen and marketing folder, and we're going to find the marketing compliance guide, right? And this is where we go, okay, I need these items. These items are going to have to be on your page, right? On your professional Facebook page. That way, when you post things, they link back to that page and you've got your marketing compliance. So we do want to make sure that we're compliant with our marketing. Yes, Oahu, let's get that reviewed. Lots of new agents create logos for themselves and are missing of Keller Williams Honolulu. Yeah, So you have to see how this says, my name, RS number, realtor, salesperson, Keller Williams Realty Maui. Those items have to be listed. And remember, the reason we have compliance in our marketing is so the public is not confused. Okay. Now, could I put Nicole Burns, my number? Could I put the Burns team under that? Yes, I could. But that way, if I leave out Keller Williams Realty Maui, it sounds like the Burns team is the brokerage. That confuses the public. That's why Keller Williams Realty Maui is always required. Honolulu would be Honolulu, but you've got to have your brokerage name. Okay. This is the office address. It doesn't have to be listed, but if it is, it's got to be the Kahumanu address. For Big Islands agents, you can add Kona or Hilo address for clarity. And then this is what you need. This is what Michelle's going to ask you for. So the first thing you guys want to do is when you create your professional Facebook page, go look at this and make sure you've got this in your description. Because when you send it to her for marketing, and Carrie, who do they send it to on Oahu?
Right now, they would send it to they can review with their Vic or their coach. And this is a great opportunity to introduce Mike Menegas. He is just coming over. He's going to be hey, Mike, he's probably going to be the one that the agents are going to want to connect with.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Mike. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet everybody.
Awesome. So yeah, so Oahu peeps, connect with Mike. And you're going to make sure you want to get that approved. Yes, Bruno.
So just to clarify the way it's formatted, it's only for Facebook page. It's not for Instagram and other platforms, right?
Same.
Really?
Same. Yes. You need, if you're going to post social, you need to, post in any social media. If you're going to post on your professional, you need to put this in here.
But what about, so for example, if we already have an established business and a part of our strategy is to bring the real estate to it and not to divide ourselves into a real estate account and a yoga account or a wellness account, trying to do it in one account, then you would put all of this plus you would add the second stuff. Like, is it?
Yeah, you would just have your yoga information as well as this.
Okay, but all of this has to be in the bio.
These pieces right here, full name, right? So the 4 basic items, full license name. Notice it has my middle initial because that's my full license name. License, and it's got to be like this, you guys. That is exactly how it has to be. Capital R, capital S, dash, and the numbers, right? That's exactly how it's got to be. Realtor, capitalized with the registered trademark, salesperson, Keller Williams Realty Maui.
Okay.
That's exactly the components you would need to put on yours.
I have another question for the Facebook page. So it's a Facebook business page. Does it have to be just real estate centric? Because I know there's something with Command and Facebook that they link together. So I'm wondering if I should like open a new Facebook page because I already have one separately, a business page that I use for wellness. And I feel like I need to create a new one for the real estate just for Facebook, right?
Well, so Command will only connect to a page. It will not connect to a profile, right? So Command has to be connected to a page. And then that page would be what you utilize for your business. So if you want to use what you already have and combine it, you could do that. You just need these components within that. And that's what would connect to Command.
Right. Yeah, because it's already built and there's already people following it and all of that.
Right. So you don't want to lose that or make them join something else. Yes.
Or merge.
Well, and what you may see in the guts of Command when you're doing, especially if you're doing Facebook ads, like there's which Facebook page do you want to link it to, which business page, you'll see that I used to sell little Star Wars collectible knickknacks. I'm a super geek. My previous business page on Facebook will come up and it's like, oh, that's not what I want to use, but you could. And so there's a little bit of a overlap.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think your point though, Bruno, is you don't want to build the whole new following for a new real estate page.
Right. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and we talked about it a little bit when we had our conversation together, and it's just like, I don't have the answer yet. I'm trying to figure out how to do it in a way that feels again, the most real to who I am, and I don't feel like dividing myself into different businesses is the way that I want to move through life. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to do one profile on Instagram, one profile on Facebook, and that's it. You
So
know?
for example, in my Facebook business, if I promote something or do something that's business related, I put it in my professional page, but I share it to my personal page because I have thousands of people on my personal page. My professional page, I don't promote that page, but I do have to have those, like it links back so that I'm covered compliance wise. And then that's connected to, if I want to run ads, you can't run ads through Command unless you have a page connected to it, right?
Right.
So that's why I do it, but I post everything to the professional page and then share it to my personal page because that's where all my followers are. It was easier than trying to move everyone over to my professional page.
Right.
That's the direction I go.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, that makes sense too, because I have a similar scenario where like, you know, wellness page as well. And it's like, does it confuse people? I guess it's just kind of like a pivot in your lifestyle though. And it all comes back to the wellness of your life if you have a home.
Absolutely. I mean,
Right, exactly.
you know, I think we have to get away from, I had a woman who was teaching a class once and she had followers from the very beginning of her starting like her career. And she didn't have a business that was anything like what she had then. She just brought her followers along with her. It was like people are used to us doing different things and not expecting us to just be one thing, right? It's very common for people to do multiple things. So don't get too caught up in that. Just make sure you have your compliance and combine. Definitely nothing wrong with that. Why not? That's your tribe. Don't avoid that tribe. It's already there. Yes, Renata.
Just for technicalities, who actually established the marketing compliance? Is that a company or the
DCCA?
Okay, so
That's the
if I want to
DCCA.
research, okay, I go to their website. Okay.
Yeah, no, you go into Google Drive. This is what we want. This is what we want to make sure is on there. And that, because they're going to tell you what you need, you're not going to know how it's written. So that's why we have this sheet in here to show you how it's written.
Okay, and just to clarify, is it possible to just establish a business page just for compliance sake, like you said? And then if you're posting on your personal page, maybe only include this on the post, not on the bio, like just every time you post something?
That's possible. So technically when you're going to post anything that's real estate related, you're supposed to send a screenshot to Michelle to be approved. Okay. You're supposed to have because you always want to make sure you're not doing something you're not supposed to do. So you're always supposed to get that approval from Michelle.
Okay.
So you would send like a screenshot of something that you were going to post and then she would approve it. And then you can post it. But I always still just post to the professional page and share to the personal page. So this part is in there and linked to it.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Thank
and I'm
you.
probably overcautious, but I'd rather be overcautious and compliant than miss something. That's just my thoughts.
So
Yes,
if
Bruno.
you,
oh, go ahead. Who was that?
it's Catherine, sorry. So if you have a professional page and you post, you still have to send to Michelle every time you want to post something?
If it's real estate related,
Yeah,
personal is fine. You can do anything. You can do personal pieces all you want, but if it's real estate related, it must go through Michelle. Yes.
Okay.
Unless it's a Facebook live video. Obviously she can't review a live video. When I start live videos, I always say, hey, this is Nicole Burns with Keller Williams Realty Maui. I just say that. That's just my thing. I just say that every time because it's like, I'm easy to find. Yeah.
It was very
question. So if you're doing a live, you just basically have to go over that quickly and you're all set.
I do it. I don't know if I necessarily have to. I just rather be, again, saying who I am and where I'm from because I'm coming in a professional video, especially if I'm at like an open house or something and I'm doing a live video. So she can't preview a live video, but you can at least say that in the beginning and then post it to make it live, go to your professional page, share it on your personal page too. So yes, Bruno.
So in the chat, Kyrie mentioned something about the logos for themselves. So I realized a team can have a logo, right? But then a person like an independent agent having a logo is possible to have a logo for Bruno Zaloom? Yes,
you can. There are certain words you cannot use, and whatever logo, if you're going to create a logo, talk to Michelle or your coach or broker if you're on Oahu first, because there are terms you may not use that are misleading terms. Like you can't say Bruno Zaloom real estate. That is a term that is for for brokerages, right?
Right,
You can't
right.
use realty or real estate. You can use, that's why you'll hear team a lot, because team is an okay word to use. There are certain things you can't say because they make it sound to the public like you're your own brokerage.
Right,
So we have to
right.
be very careful about that.
Okay.
Any logo you're looking to create, you've got to have your Michelle if you're on Maui, and then coach or broker if you're on Oahu.
Cool.
Yep. Bill.
So when it comes to including the 4 requirements on there, is it sufficient to put it up in, so in Facebook you have this cover photo that you can put up? Is it sufficient to put up like our signature panel, the image of our signature panel up there as your cover photo, or is it something that has to go on every single post?
You can, but I actually put it in the description because it's easier for me to have it in the description because I never change my description, but I might change my cover photo. And
Okay.
I prefer to have pretty photos as my cover photo versus having that, because you can do your signature, you know, your footer, your email footer as your, but I recommend that you do it as your description. Put it in your description and then you're covered. Now, as far as whether it has to be on an actual post, that would be the question. So if it's a real estate post, ask Michelle, right? When you get it approved, do I need to put this if it's already in my page, and see what she says, because she'd be the one who'd answer that question. Yeah. Any other questions about that?
Is it the same with Instagram then? We always have to run by Michelle if it's business related?
Yes.
Oh.
If it's a business post is going on social media, it's got to go through Michelle. Correct.
You have a lot of work to do.
Yes, she does. Yep. So, you guys, agents pay money for not being in compliant. It's a fine if you're caught. You will pay. So that's why we want to help you cover yourselves, because DCCA does have people looking. Okay, cool. Glad we got through that. All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we are going to be going into open houses. Bill, do you have another question, or did you just?
Oh, shit.
Oh, no worries. Look at you, all messing up on Zoom today. You got a hand raised for no reason.
I'm
Talking
tired.
about stuff. Just teasing you, Bill. All right, you guys, let's take a break. It's 1:30 or 1:08. No, it's 10:18. I'm going to do it right this time, you guys. 10:18, right? Do I have it right? Yes.
10, yeah.
Okay, 10:18 a.m. So let's come back, and I'll give you guys 15 minutes. So let's come back right around 10:33, and I'll put the little timer on. I'll see you guys then.
Nicole, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so with the purchase contract, is it okay if I don't add the signatures?
Yeah,
Or
you
is
can
okay.
just turn in the PDF for
Okay.
review. I just recommend that you go through the signature process with yourself so that you practice it,
Okay,
right? Yeah.
I just didn't want to like accidentally mess up.
Yeah, put in your own email and then send it through like you're the buyer. And then that way you see the, signing software and get that practice.
Okay,
That's kind of the key there. Yeah.
thank you.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Hopefully you're all back. Yeah, so I do want to make sure everybody's back before I go over the homework, because I want to make sure you guys know what the story is, all that fun stuff. And then we're going to talk a bit about open houses. Okay. So I did put it in the comments. So you're required to have your quiz completed in your first purchase contract. We do not require for graduation of Ignite to have that first practice listing agreement. We recommend that you do it, but we know that in 4 weeks it's tough to get it all done. So, you can do it after Ignite, but definitely do the practice of getting that listing agreement going and working that through, sending it to your coach and getting it reviewed. But as far as the graduation of Ignite, we need your quiz completed. We don't require any, you don't have to answer so many correct or anything like that. We just want you to complete it, do your best. absolutely. And so far, the ones we've seen have been coming in pretty good. And then do that first purchase contract. Those are both requirements to graduate Ignite and to get your certificate. So we want to make sure that you guys know that. Any questions about the homework at this point? No, we're good. Okay, awesome.
Real quick, sorry.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to forward you the feedback from our coaches on the purchase contract, or did they forward it over to you?
No, your coach would have just given it directly to you.
Oh, okay, so I guess my question is, how do you know that we've actually done the purchase contract at that point?
We ask the coaches and they tell us
Okay,
who's completed them. Yeah. Did you, Bill, you sent it to County?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
my feedback
Yep.
from him yesterday.
Good, perfect. Okay, yeah, we talk to the coaches and say who's done what and what's been completed. So, yeah.
Nicole, did you receive mine?
Yeah, I think
I
oh,
sent
wait a minute.
off on Monday.
Let me see.
Email to the Nicole Burns, not the KW.
It's fine, either one will work. Let me see if I got it, Catherine. And you sent it via PDF?
Yes. Monday morning.
You send it via zip files, Catherine? Because I had, Keone didn't actually see mine until I prompted him, reminded him about it.
Actually,
Apparently
I
he
sent
didn't
it
get
to
notified.
Nicole Burns at kw.com.
Was it Nicole A. Burns at kw.com?
No, not A. I don't
Gotta
have
have the A in
Sorry.
there. Yep.
Oh, no wonder
Otherwise
I
it goes,
didn't hear anything
it goes
from
to the, yeah, it goes to the, whoever has the not Nicole A.
Okay, all right, I'll do it now. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Nicole, I have a question. How do we know the coach? Like, are we assigned the coach? How does it work?
So you guys send them to me, and those of you that aren't yet assigned that are on Maui, I'm going to be setting up a conversation or texting you and asking you which coach you prefer. Right now for Maui, you've got Marion or myself as your choice. So I'll be talking to each of you, Renata, Patricia, Alan, Bruno, and finding out who you guys want as your coach, and Catherine, I think.
Oh, cool. I sent you an email to Nicole A. Burns at KW like a week ago. I don't know if you saw it or not. It's about
And what was in that? Was that the homework?
no, it's about the coaching. So
Okay, and it came from which of your emails?
Bruno Zalum at gmail.com. It was on January 27.
27. Ah, I see it, and I did not look at it.
It's okay.
Okay.
Later.
I will now.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me know.
No, of course.
Yeah.
I wondered if the A was wrong. That's why.
No,
the A is
you've
right.
actually got
Okay.
it in there. It's interesting. I always tell my agents, if you email me and I don't respond, you need to text me, because I get so many emails. Sometimes I miss things. So human,
So it's
yes.
okay. It's okay to text you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Text
cool.
me, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, very cool. So we are going to start talking about a little bit about open houses. Now, who can tell me what an open house actually is?
Opportunity.
Okay. No, I mean, like, explain it to me. Let's say I'm somebody on the street and I'm like, I don't know what an open house is. What does that mean? Tell me what that means.
A house that's been listed for sale that's open for the public to come in and see.
Okay. Good way to put it. And how do you host an open house?
Is that a trick question?
No. I mean, what do you do? Like, you guys tell me, what do you do? It's not a trick question. Tell me what you do. What do you do?
Put out open house signs, advertise it,
Okay.
put it up on your social medias.
Okay. Any other ideas?
You can ask
Word
the
of mouth.
listing agent if you can host it for them.
Ask the listing agent. Yeah, you definitely want to find one, right? For sure. Yeah, like that, Alan. And what else did you say, Bill?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. So would that be contacting your sphere or contacting people you know, or letting people know you're doing an open house, right? Getting the word out. Yeah. Anything else you guys would do if you were having an open house?
Show up.
Show up. Yeah, that's an important one. Show up. I do highly recommend you show up to your open houses. All right. Any other ideas? We're brainstorming here.
So now with COVID, is it possible to make a little event at the open house or not really? Unless it's like very limited.
Great question.
Okay.
So number one, can you guys even have an open house with COVID?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to have all the forms for people to sign. I've been to a few on the weekend just to.
Yep. You need to have the COVID forms. Absolutely. What else?
Actually, that's a good question. Under
think
COVID,
yeah.
for an
There's a
open,
yeah,
go ahead,
sorry.
go ahead, Renata.
I think there's a restriction of how many people at one time you can have at the open house. I just didn't really, I didn't read the whole fine print, but I think it's, yeah, depending on the size of the house and how many.
That was part of my question is as under COVID restrictions, are there limits and time slots that you have to have for open houses? Which
So-
essentially make it an appointment at that point.
There it is. So here's what we recommend. And Oahu could be different. I don't know what your current rules are, but here's what I would say. The rules and everything have been changing so much that what I want you to do is before you do your first open house, I want you to just text Michelle and say, I'm about to do my first open house. What protocols do I need to be following right now? Right? Just check with her. For those of you in Oahu, I want you to check with your broker or your coach and say, what are my current protocols? Because things have changed. So at the most restricted time, and that's what I'm going to teach you guys is the most restricted point, because I'd rather you do most restricted and then you're covered, right? So you needed to put on all of your signs, open house by appointment only and a phone number. Okay. Now, can someone call you as they're walking up to the house and nobody's there and you can let them in? Yeah, for sure. Right. But they have to call ahead of time and they have to sign the COVID waiver. Okay. So these things have to be done, but you do have to have the signs. And on Maui, they were busting us. So Oahu's been a little more open. So I'm not sure what your current rules are, but Maui, they were busting us. If it did not say text for immediate appointment, you were going to get in trouble. So I would just keep doing that protocol for now. It also lets people know that you're being cautious, right? If you have somebody in the home, then have the other person wait, right? I would not let multiple parties in at a time. Now I know things have opened up. So right now you potentially could, like I said, text Michelle for the current, like what's the current rules, because this has been changing constantly, right? Now, everybody has to sign the COVID form. And when you sign the COVID form, you need at least one phone number per party. And that's for contract tracing, right? So you need a phone number for the party. It's very interesting with this new variant. It's just spreading so fast and so like easily that I don't know what's going to happen. But at this point, I would say follow those same protocols, right? Everybody wears a mask when they come in. Absolutely. My understanding is that we do not have to ask for vaccine cards or proof of a negative COVID test. But again, ask Michelle. And by the way, she's the one who makes up the rules, right? So she takes what we can do legally by what is our county saying we can do. And then she'll say, we're gonna do it this way, right? So that's her choice. It's her license on the line for everything we do. So whatever rules she wants, if she wants to be a little bit more cautious on certain things, she's gonna do that. So that's why I say just check with her when it comes to your open house. But yeah, be smart. Everybody signs the COVID waiver. And you need one phone number for contract tracing. And then I just do one party at a time at this point. But again, ask Michelle. And you can ask her, are we still required to put the appointment only sign on our open house signs, right? So you're going to put out open house signs. You're going to pick an amount of time. What's the ideal amount of time for an open house?
$4 hours.
Okay. Any other guesses?
All day seems
All day.
Well, she said ideal time, so.
A friend of mine hosted an open house at a Kihei condo this weekend, Saturday, all day, and it was busy all day. Like, because I went there in the morning and in the afternoon, it was kind of hard for him to, he would be showing the bedroom and there would be 3 other couples coming in. It was crazy. Like,
Yeah, got to be careful. That's why you got to know what the protocols are right now too, though. So the answer is, I don't know. You have to discover that in your business. For me, I don't have the energy doing it all day and be on all day. That's past my limitation. I usually do 4 to 5 hours max, because after 5 hours, I'm tired, right? I've been on, I've been talking. So I know that for me, you figure out what works for you. Some people like to marathon 10 hours. If that's your skill, rock on, whatever you want, right? That's totally your choice. Then that, definitely more loose than that here. Yeah, Carrie. We can get an update on Oahu Peeps on rules, as Nicole is right, always changing. Yeah, so I just say find out what's, you know, and for some of you, you may find you're not having an open house for 3 months from now and the rules could have changed again, right? So we got to make sure we know what's up. All right, so ideal time of day, ideal day of the week. Any guesses?
Weekends I would imagine weekends would be the ideal day.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, weekends. What else? Any other guesses?
Well, the only other
you-
guess is weekdays, so.
I was like, you have to figure that out for yourself.
Weekdays, evenings.
We had a guy that loved Thursdays, right? And then no advertisements or whatnot, but because people that saw the signs and showed up were more interested than just looky-loos that showed up on a Sunday. I guess that was his thought.
Interesting, right? So what I want to say is don't put yourself in a box when it comes to your open houses. Maui, we can do them 7 days a week. Oahu's probably more of a weekend scenario, although like you said, if you do it on an off day, there's a potential that you have no other competition, right? It's an interesting market right now. Do you guys think open houses are abundant or not as many right now?
Not as many.
Yeah, I was just saying not as many. I don't see signs for open houses.
I don't see.
Okay. So for those of you that were on Maui when the market was a little more traditional or normal, 3 to 6 months worth of inventory, you could drive down, for example, South Kihei Road and see 15 different open houses, not 15 signs, because most people had multiple signs, but you could see 15 different open houses. Now it's just not, there's just not that many. Now, any ideas why there's not that many?
Inventory. Everything sells before it's even listed.
Yep.
And one other point I was going to make earlier about days, like kind of to Carrie's Thursday thing. Just a quick little anecdote. When my folks bought a place on the Big Island, they were on a cruise ship. And so I would think that, I think a lot of the cruise ships came in on Wednesdays over there. So if you could do an open house, maybe Thursday or Friday, to take advantage of people before they turn around and leave port again, I would say kind of look at the cruise ship schedules and see, because those are a lot of people who are only here for a finite amount of time and you can't necessarily wait till Sundays. And so it could be a whole nother market, because that's what they did. And they found one and they bought one on the Big Island based off of that. But right now, open houses aren't as prevalent because, again, everything is selling with multiple offers before you can even hold one.
Yeah, it's happening so fast, right? So that's why we don't have so many to hold. What's really the key in your open houses is know your target audience, right? So when we used to have those 15 people doing open houses along South Kihei Road, the majority of them were vacation rentals. Well, guess what? When I'm here on holiday, I'm here for the whole week. I'm not working. I can go look at an open house. You know what I found was actually holding an open house for a vacation rental when it was drizzling or rainy was the best time to have it, because they're not on the beach. They're not at the pool. They're trying to find something to do. So they all come in the open house and I would get to meet people, right? And some of them would be interested. So know your audience. You know, when you're in a complex that is, let's say you're in a complex that is mostly owned by long-term people who live there, right? That's going to be more your workers. So, you know, you don't want to do necessarily a Wednesday from noon to 4. They're all driving home at 5, right? So be open until 6:30 or 7 and notice when people are walking around, and that's potentially when they can come in, right? Weekends do well in those kind of complexes. Know your audience for where you're holding your open house will make a big difference. Okay, so just really important. Catherine? Did you have
Sorry.
something? Oh, no, you're good.
No.
Okay. So yeah, just figure out what's my audience and what's their, you know, where are they and what are they doing? I found that if I started earlier in the day in a vacation rental, I would be slower. But I will tell you that right before sunset, you can get a ton of people that are going out to watch sunset or going to dinner, right? So it's like, find that window and figure out who your audience is, and you can have a great open house. Now, I want to talk to you guys about one thing here on this little sheet. Share this with you. Hang on a second. Because this is, as far as I am concerned, something really important. So open houses, we want to prepare, we want to prospect, and we want to pursue. Where do you guys think most agents drop the ball?
On the prepare or pursue, maybe pursue.
So they drop the biggest ball on pursue, and they drop the secondary ball on prepare. Really. But the biggest one is pursue. This is really important, you guys. Remember when I told you my first year in real estate, I did 98 open houses? This year, I closed transactions because of those 98 open houses. This business has followed me and built both my referral business as well as the actual people that showed up at the open houses for years to come. But it's because I pursue. I used to go into the open house, and like I said, I liked the afternoon shift versus the morning shift. And there was this one vacation rental that sat open for like 6 months. And there was a lot of different people holding it open, but there was this, myself and this one other girl. We were like the 2 main ones. And she would come in and she would do, 9 to 1, and I would do 1 to 5 or 1 to 6. And I walked in one day and we were talking. We always talk. How was it? How'd things go today? You know, what was your day like? And I looked at her book. And I realized in her book, she was on like page 20. And I said, so what are you doing with all of these names? And she goes, I haven't really done anything with them. I was blown away. You mean to tell me you have 20 pages worth of names and you haven't done anything with them? I was in shock. I didn't really say anything because I didn't want to be rude. And I'm a bit of a high D, and I was about to be like, what are you thinking? Or I almost wanted to be like, $100, I'll take the whole book from you. Like, I knew I could close some sales in there. I was like, you did nothing. There was no follow-up at all. So she was looking for her right now business, right? She was looking for people to walk through the door and say, I'm ready to buy something right now. Can you help me with that? Here's the thing about right now business. It shows up very rarely because most business came to my open house 6 months before, made a connection with me. I've been following up with them. And when they're ready to buy, they already have a relationship with me. Right? You've got to build that relationship over time. It's not the right now business you're looking for. It's the how do I build this moving forward? If you don't follow up.
Realtor. I walked into an open house. I wasn't planning on buying that place, but I didn't have any contact with a realtor, but I knew within the next 6 months I would be needing it because my rental was going to run out. And that's how I found her. And she works for Keller Williams, Jane, NG.
Ing? Yeah, Jane Ing.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I met so many people at open houses, right? That's how I made connections with people and got to know people and found out their needs. had a lot of people who actually bought before they thought they could, because we talked about their needs and they didn't really need a vacation rental, right? It was like, you know, figure out what your client needs, but build a relationship. So let's talk about the setup in your open house. So when you host an open house, what do you need to have as your setup? What would you guys bring with you?
Your sign?
Definitely need your signs. Yes. How many signs?
3, 2.
Okay. So I personally have 3 large signs with my name and my phone number on it. And I have about 15 directionals. Do I always put out 15 directionals? No. But the reason I had so many directionals is because I have one complex that I do a lot of open houses in, Kihei Villages, and that place is a dang maze. Nobody knows where they're going. It's confusing. No one knows where to park, right? So I would literally turn here, turn here, turn here, turn here, park here, walk here, and then have a big open house flag at the actual place. No one got lost on the way to one of my open houses. Because I thought to myself, if I'm going to sit here and there's somebody who's trying to find this place and then gives up and leaves, I just lost the potential. I mean, like, I'm sitting here, you're going to find my place. So I got 15 of those little directionals at, you can get them at Ace Hardware, you can get them at Home Depot. And then I put on them really bright neon color, like neon yellow or neon pink starbursts. They look like bursts, right? And I wrote things on them, like turn here or park here or pet friendly or potential income or ocean view, right? And I had these all laminated at Staples because it rains and it's windy and stuff gets ruined. And I just did it in marker and I had these all laminated and I put them on my signs, depending on the open house. So I had bright colors to catch people's eyes. See, because when I started doing open houses, there were 15 people on South Kihei Road I was competing with. So first of all, I put something bright that they would see and something where I spoke to them. When I was on the mainland, I had an open house once and they said, don't do open houses that are really far off the main path. And I said, no, you just got to do it right. So I had signs and my signs would say things like, oh, honey, this place is great. Oh, check out the view. Oh, look, honey, they have cookies. So there was something for them to read on every single sign that was directing them on where to go. And I had so many people who were like, the husbands would go, I didn't even want to go, but after reading all your little signs, I want my cookie and I'm happy to be here. It was really, it's like, make it an experience, right? Like have some fun with it. This is fun. Now, the other thing I did when I started.
Sorry. Just to clarify, because that sounds
Yes.
really great. Like, how would you put that kind of thing on your sign? Like, where would you fit it? What would you say?
So signs generally have riders above them, or they're an arrow, and I can put right in the middle because the arrow is big enough to where it has the direction here and the end here, and I can just put it right on the end of it, just not covering up the arrow. Or
Right.
you can put it on the rider part of your sign, because most signs have that top part that's a rider. These didn't attach to the actual rider, so I just taped them on.
What would you say? Like cookies await or something? Like that
Yeah,
sounds.
that one was a hey honey. I was like, hey honey, they have fresh cookies, or hey honey, it has a great view. That's literally what I would write.
Cool.
Right. So I was trying to get them intrigued and interested enough to drive through the maze to get to this property, right? Because it was off the beaten path. A little different when you're on a main road, but you can do off the beaten path, but make the experience fun for people, right? Give them good directions. Now, here's the other thing: when you're competing against a lot of other people, the signs all start to blend, right? So I had my bright starburst, but then I needed something that moved. So any ideas on something that would move and catch someone's eye?
Balloons.
Tube man.
Balloons, the dude going like this. I love it. So Alan, I like the idea of balloons, and I actually wanted to do balloons. What I found out though is for 98 open houses, having to pay for balloons or blow them up myself was going to get really pricey. So I forego the balloons. I didn't want to invest in the guy. I actually looked in the really large signs, like the new development signs. They're huge and made out of cloth, and they move. I didn't like that either. So I ended up going and getting American flags and attaching them to my open house signs. They flap in the wind.
I love that. Oh, very cool.
They flap in the wind. Yep. So that's what I did. I wanted something that moved. You need something to catch people's eye. So that's what I did. So I had my signs, my starbursts, and my American flag. By the way, I'm telling you guys what I did. You can do whatever you want. I'm just giving you ideas, right? Okay, now we're going to go into the open house. What do you have there? What are people going to see?
I think you told us that you just didn't make a bunch of copies, but you have at least one copy and you have it in a binder or so regarding the house information.
Correct. So I used to show up with a stack of flyers for everybody. I don't do that anymore. I put one flyer and I put it in a plastic container so everyone can read it. And I do not provide flyers. And do you know what most people will ask you for? Is a flyer. So what are you going to say?
Here, let me give you my app. It's right here on your phone.
I love that, Bill. What I actually said was, would you like a flyer just for this property, or would you like a flyer for all the properties on Maui that are for sale? And they'd always say, oh, all the properties. I go, great, that's my app. Let me text it to you. And then I would text them my app. Now, if they said, I just want the one for this one, I go, great, let me email the flyer to you. What's your email? See, I'm getting contact either way. I'm giving them an option. And by the way, I didn't have any, but I think I had one person who said just those one. And I would send them my app. Now, a couple tricks about sending your app. First of all, you're in an open house. So you're going to meet a lot of people. Hopefully, right? If you did it right? There's hopefully going to be a lot of people coming through. How are you going to remember who's who and what phone number?
Sign up sheet.
Say again, Catherine?
You have the sheet for people to sign a name and phone number.
You could. So when I send you my app, you will say, let's say it was Renata came into my open house. My app's going to say, aloha, Renata. And then I'm going to send her my app. And I'm going to actually ask her how to spell her name correctly as I'm texting it to her. And you know what's also awesome about sharing your app? Most people have their ringers on. So guess what I hear? Ding. I go, oh, great. Is that my app? Oh, yeah. And they pull their phone out. Awesome. You got my number too, in case you want to reach me. But I got their number. Follow up. My job, not theirs. My job is to follow them up. I find that to be the best way to share value, not kill trees, and get phone numbers. Right? Now, do I have the printout? Yes, I do. And by the way, which printout do I use? So there's a lot of different printouts in the MLS, right? I was very simple and I just did the large photo brochure. And then I picked the photo that I thought was the best. It tells the maintenance fee on the bottom, which is the question that people will ask you. I did a lot of condos. So the question is always, what's the maintenance fee, right? That's on the bottom. You have your price, you have your bedrooms and bathrooms, you have your square footage. Very basic information, right? So one of the questions, and if you're going to do condos, you need to know this. One of the questions everyone's going to ask you, what does the HOA fee cover? You got to know the answer. Okay. Know the answer if you're going to hold a condo, because that is going to be the question. I'll tell you, after 98 open houses, you get the same questions over and over again. When somebody would ask me like a question I hadn't heard, I'd be like, oh, bonus question. I've not heard this one. I wanted to give them a prize. What else do you want to have at the open house?
Some kind of refreshment.
You can. You can. I will tell you, so I know somebody who used to serve chocolate. Please do not ever serve chocolate at an open house. Chocolate melts, especially in humid environments, and chocolate will end up on everything. Do not serve chocolate at your open houses.
Also allergies.
No, yeah, potentially. People say M&Ms are good, but I don't think right now, especially in COVID, that people want to be pulling from a, so small pack pieces. Originally, when I started my open houses, I would offer more refreshments. Here's what I found. Agents like refreshments. So if you're doing caravan, have refreshments. Clients, not so much. They don't generally take you up on things unless they're very small, because I think they feel like anything bigger is a commitment. So I would have the little waters.
That's what I was thinking more of anything, little water grenades.
Yes, exactly. The little waters. You don't have to get fancy. You're not there to serve them a meal. You're there to talk about real estate.
Maybe
yes.
Now with COVID, since everyone has to put a used pen somewhere else, maybe have some free pens with your name on it and phone numbers so people can take home.
Great idea. I love that idea. Yeah. Marketing pieces. Yeah. What else would you want to have?
Staging kit.
Say that again.
Staging kit.
So I love that you said that, Ellen, a staging kit. So what I had was, I called it my open house kit, and it was paper towels, cleaner, because I would often find things that I wanted to wipe down. And by the way, you can clean off mirrors pretty easily with paper towels. I would have tape in case I needed to tape something, right? I would have scissors. I would have like a little packet of things that I might need. By the way, if you go into the open house folder, I think you can find the Lee Potts, like what he has. And it was a ton of stuff. I used to bring a whole suitcase. Like it was a little suitcase full of stuff. And I found out what I really needed, and I started bringing what I really needed. What else? Any other ideas?
Sanitizer. I'm sorry.
Sanitizer right now. Yes, absolutely. Have sanitizer. When I do an open house, a lot of people are like, they want you to put gloves on. I hate putting gloves on. I get so gross in gloves. So when people come in the door, I literally just squirt the sanitizer in their hands and say, welcome to the open house. Right? I'm just like, you're just all getting sanitizer, and nobody says no right now. They're just like, oh yeah, okay, here we go. And then they can touch whatever they want. I don't have to feel like I have to go back and wipe all the cabinet drawers or, handles and all that stuff. So yeah, sanitizer is wonderful. Love having that right now. Okay. Now you guys got to think about your C personalities. What are your C personalities going to want to have you have?
Specific details.
Tape measurements.
Okay. So Carrie gave it to you guys in the comments. Comps, right?
Yeah.
Comparables, absolutely. Do a very simple CMA summary and print it out. Now, here's what you do not want to do. Do not print out a CMA summary and not be able to speak to those properties. Okay? Because a CMA summary literally has nothing on it other than the address, the price it was listed for, the price it sold for, days on market, right? It's just make sure you can speak to them. I used to write little notes next to it. Nobody cares if you've got notes on there. I used to be like remodeled, original, right? So I could speak to it and go, oh yeah, that's the one that did this and this and this and this. So I could speak to it, because people will ask you if they're looking at a CMA and they go, this is listed for $40,000 more than this sold for a month ago. Why? You got to be able to answer that question, right? That was an original unit. This has had upgrades in the kitchens and the bathrooms, which will cost you more than $40,000 to do an original, right? Whatever, you got to be able to speak to it. So make sure on your comps, you just pull out a simple CMA is fine, but be able to go through all those comps. So you've seen the pictures and you write yourself notes. You got to speak to it. Make sense? Yeah. So comps is important. The other thing I recommend that you bring for your C people is you guys are going to get connected to the title companies, and they're going to be sending you the monthly reports, right? Here's our year over year, our monthly. Put those sheets out. People like those. They like to see those. They're very pretty. They're just a couple pages, and your Cs will love checking that out. All right. Like I said, I used to do a big book. It had all the solds. It had their full photo brochures. No one ever touched that book. And I was having to constantly update it. I was like, this isn't working for me.
Sorry, what do you get from the title companies? I was just
They
writing.
send you market reports. So for example, I'm sure I can pull one up. We have a lot of title companies that send out. Once you get on the list, once you guys are in the MLS, they're going to do this. Okay, so let me pull this up. Fidelity. Let me just pull up Fidelity. See if I can find the market report. We don't have February out yet, so it's going to be back in January. Nope, there we go. What did we get? Probably run the Fidelity agents January monthly marketing package.
Oh, cool.
So this will probably be it. Once you guys start getting them in the mail, you'll see them. This is your year end. Why is that not loading? That's weird. Oh, because I have to tell it, yes, show me the pretty stuff. Oh, this is the monthly marketing package from the agent one. This is what's coming. Where is my, January. Nope, that's a marketing package. Okay, I can't find it. Now this is the monthly marketing package. I'm not seeing it. Hold on. Let's see if I can find the first Hawaii title one. You get them from like 3 different marketing company or rep companies. Just to put a sample one in your
And the best way to print out a CMA is off the MLS.
You go on the MLS, you search for the comps, just like we taught you guys to do a buyer's comp. You're going to do it like a buyer's comp and then do a simple CMA and print it out, CMA spreadsheet. Oh, here we go. Year-end real estate statistics. This should be the one. Okay, so here's an Old Republic sample. Sorry, now I got to find you guys again. There you are. Okay, so like this is an Old Republic one. So it's got the Maui year-end stats. Now it says click here to view the full report. So you pull out the reports. They're usually like 5 pages. It depends on how in-depth it is. But you'll get these like towards the, I don't know, 5th or 6th of the month, you'll get these, right? So you just print it out. This is the year-end one, 2021 versus 2020. Maui statistics, close prices, median prices, and sales volume by area, which is really nice. Oahu, I'm sure you guys get the same thing, by region. Like these are great stats and they're pretty. So people like to look at them. This was the year end. So just an example.
That's great.
Yeah, Anastasia, you would have to fly. I would not recommend that you do open houses in Oahu unless you want to build a business in Oahu and you know the Oahu market.
Okay, no worries. Sometimes I'm over there, but I can focus on Maui, no worries.
Yeah, so we definitely recommend you guys like make sure you can service a client. Like if I have people, I mean, I've been to Oahu, but I don't know their market. I wouldn't feel comfortable servicing a buyer or a seller. I don't know their market, right? Now, that being said, I also don't have access to their MLS. You're somebody who knows that market or lives in both places or something, that could be a different conversation.
Well, now we have all these friends on Oahu too, so we can just.
I know. Just give them the referrals. Catherine, you had a question?
Hi. Does Keller Williams have a calendar, like weekly calendar of the open house that happen? Okay.
So there is in the MLS, you can see who's holding open houses. So you can go check out open houses if you guys want to go. Remember, what did I say? What's the rule if you go into an open house of somebody else's?
You call and ask them.
As an agent as well too to them.
Yeah. Let them know immediately you're an agent. Just professional courtesy, right? So let them know you're an agent. But yeah, we don't have one within our company. And as far as finding an open house, you got to go in the MLS. You can search who's got listings by Keller Williams Realty Maui actives, see who's got something, call them up. You know, you got to sell yourself. It's really important that when you host open houses for other people, how you show up matters a lot. Okay. You've got to show up professionally. You got to make sure you always turn the lights off when you leave, you close the shades, you leave the place exactly as you found it, right? That's the important part. You send an update if they want one. Ask the agent, do you want an update after the open houses? Some agents might be like, no, I don't even want to know what happened. Because their sellers may be like, no, don't tell me about that. Just tell me when I get an offer, right? So ask the agent, do you want an update? And if they want an update, make sure you text them with an update. Now, so let's say somebody comes to your open house, they check it out, you get their information, you share your app with them. Do you walk them around? Do they walk themselves around? How do we do that?
I think I read somewhere that you can walk behind them.
Okay. Renata?
You can, I mean, ideally you walk them around and try to upsell the house. My question was going to be like, if they say they are already represented by an agent, do you still push the app or not? Like, can you still like?
No, I generally won't. I won't. Okay. I won't. Well, here's what I shouldn't say. No, I won't. Here's what I'll do. If somebody says, yes, we're working, because I will LP Mama, right? Location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, appointment. That's what I'm working on throughout the open house with these people. So if I get to agent and they say they're working with an agent, then I will say, that's wonderful. I love when my clients are loyal to me. I appreciate you being loyal with your agent. Could I be in the backup position in case there's anything that you need in the future? Something doesn't happen. People do move off the islands, but that's all I say.
Is all how you put it, so you're not really stepping up.
I'm not stepping on any toes, and I honor what they've got going on. Yeah, I just ask to be in the backup position. Yeah, that's it. And then I'll share my app with them if they want it. But I'm very chill about it. I don't push. It's a small island. We all know each other. I think respecting our fellow agents is important. Also, I will always ask. And by the way, this is why I say the term, are you working with a local Maui agent? Because I have had people who are like, oh, I'm working with my brother's friend who lives on Oahu. And I'm like, do they live on Maui? Do they sell on Maui? It's like, again, I wouldn't sell on an island. I don't know. I don't think I can serve the person properly. So I ask them that. That's the question that I ask. And if they say yes, I will always say, who's your agent? I want to thank them for sending you in. Right. And if I know that agent, I'll send them a text. Hey, your clients were here. Awesome people. They seem to really like it. Follow up with so-and-so, the listing agent, or write me an offer, right? Depending on my situation, my relationship to the listing. So yeah, if I know them, I will 100% reach out to the agent and let them know their clients were there.
I have a quick question. So if you, and if my understanding's a little bit off, please correct it. But so to do an open house, you reach out to the listing agent and then you offer to do an open house. Mm-hmm. Is there any reason that they would say no? Like, I guess, obviously, like you have to do a good job, but like, what are the typical reasons to say no? How would you overcome that? And what do you do if they have tenants?
So seller doesn't want open houses. We have tenants and we aren't doing open houses. You don't overcome that at all. Those are facts, right? That's just a fact. It's not available for open houses. They'll just tell you it's not available for open houses. Awesome. If anything comes up, I'm happy to help. Please think of me in the future, right? In that scenario, you're not going to convince them to convince their seller to let you do an open house, right? Just take it as it is. Yeah. Yep. So now, just to clarify, somebody comes into the open house and they are not represented by another agent. You ask them, they say, no, we're not working with anybody. Do they belong to you or do they belong to the listing agent?
My understanding is they belong to you.
You're the one having the open house. Absolutely. That's the whole point. Thank you, Carrie. Yes, clarity is power. Yeah, they're yours. That's the point of having the open house, right? Now, that being said, I'm sitting an open house for somebody else. Somebody comes in and they're interested. I will, let the listing agent know, hey, someone came in, they were really interested. They were actually with an agent. I will let them know how that showing went. I'm also still there helping that listing agent sell the property. If I respect that, I'm creating a better rapport with the listing agent. And they're going to be more likely to have me hold more open houses, right? This is all relationship.
When you say give them a report at the end if they're interested, like you just tell them how many people walk through the door, or what does that look like?
Well, again, if they say, yes, I am interested, I say, great. Do you just want to know how many people came in? Do you want to know, what exactly do you want me to tell you each time I do the open house? I'll just ask them, because they may have something with their seller where they're going to give, this many people came in, but this many people were interested, or, this many people, I don't know. I don't know what their relationship is. So I'm just going to ask. And most of them will say, just tell me how many people you had come in. And I go, great. And I text them and say, today I'm just wrapping up, closing everything down. Today we had 5 groups come through. And I will always say, if someone seemed really interested or whatever, right, I'm going to update them. Yeah, I'm there to help. I want them to sell that place because I helped, right? The other positive, when you think about it, for a listing agent, if you're sitting the open house, and it's common practice, I don't know what your Oahu common practice is, you guys can tell me. It's common practice on Maui for the listing agent to always be there for the showings. Is that common practice on Oahu?
Private showing?
Yes, private showings.
That's a great question. I would want to be.
Okay.
Right,
So
but then basically though, if somebody's scheduling it through showing time, right? Here's your access and
exactly
knock yourself out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would imagine that you guys carry over there on Oahu are much more letting people do the showing time and the showings. Luxury property is a little bit different. You want to speak to the materials and designers and things like that. That being said, generally speaking on Maui, almost all listing agents go to showings, which kind of defeats the purpose of listings being leverageable, because when the listing agent has to be there for every showing, you may as well be representing a buyer and showing them 10 properties, right? So it's kind of interesting, but it's a value proposition for a lot of the agents on Maui is we will be there for all showings. When I was on the mainland doing real estate, no one was there. Listing agents were never there. It actually drives me crazy that listing agents are there, because often they do not read the room well and they will talk too much, which drives me crazy, which makes the buyers turned off on the property. Or they're just not helpful sometimes, right? Some are great. Some of the listing agents are awesome. They know how to keep the space, answer the questions, and some of them are just too obtrusive. It's like, stop selling me, right?
I was gonna say, like, if you're there as a listing agent, hey, let the buyer agent do their thing. Right. Yes. And if they have questions and ask you something, but I would then talk to the agent and not the client directly.
Yes, absolutely. And that's something that is the way it works. So if I'm there and I'm the seller and Bill's there and he's brought his buyers, as the listing agent, I represent the seller. I'm not going to talk directly to Bill's clients. Bill's going to ask me a question. I'm going to answer Bill. Bill's going to relay to his clients, right? It kind of, read the room, right? I have had scenarios where they started kind of talking to each other because there's more questions, and it's fine as long as everybody's good with it and we understand how that works, right? So, and sellers are never present. Please, 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 sellers are never present. Please, never. It is the worst thing. I can't tell. For those of you who bought properties before, we literally had a home inspection on a property we were buying. The sellers were sitting there the whole time during the home inspection. That is so uncomfortable for the buyers. If you represent the sellers, you need to let the sellers know you're not here for any of the buyer's time at the property. I will be here as your representative, but you are not here, right? Otherwise, it's weird, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable. And you can't have a real conversation. So by the way, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, the only open house that I went to here so far is it was just the agent sitting in the open house. I didn't have the listing agent. If the listing agent was there,
right? So Anastasia, we went towards showings, like private showings. We weren't talking about open houses. We were just talking about private showings.
Oh,
So
okay.
we got on a side tangent there for a moment.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I didn't mean to confuse you guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, we were just talking about for private showings. I just was like, wait, moment to tell you something. So I took it.
Do you ever have a listing agent at an open house? Because I feel like that would be really awkward.
No, never.
Okay.
Every once in a while, they might show up because they have to do something, but they don't stay. No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Never. Because why would they be there? But see, I can be there for a face. And my point was, this is when we had this conversation, why this all started, was if I'm hosting an open house, because on Maui, the listing agent is always there, I'm now representing the listing agent as far as if somebody comes in with an agent. So that listing agent doesn't have to be at the property. So I can just be there. So it helps that agent because they're now not having to come to the property for the showing.
That's what I thought.
That was the point I was making. So, but we got distracted. All right. So to be very clear, everyone who comes through that is not represented by another agent is your potential buyer or seller, right? Now, do sellers sometimes come to open houses?
Probably. I would imagine I would.
Nosy neighbors, yeah. You know, you can actually have a nosy neighbors open house, right? Invite all the neighbors over on a Friday evening, right? This isn't necessarily going to be a COVID protocol item, but outside of if things go back to, we can actually have events, have a Friday night and host an open house that I would have poo-poos and wine and invite all the neighbors to come over and check out their neighbor's property. By the way, they could bring a guest if they would like, maybe somebody who's interested in living in the neighborhood, right? So you could host open houses that are a little bit different. I would do that as a listing agent because I think that's just such a great idea. All right, so we've got our protocols. We've got what we have at the open house. As far as signing in, totally up to you guys. I have done the sheets where you have the sign-in sheets. If you do a sign-in sheet, make sure you fill out the first one, right? With a fake name, fake address, right? Because people follow what everybody else does. So fill it out completely. So that's the paper version. I've done the open house apps on an iPad where people sign in on the iPad. And honestly, toward the end of my open houses, I just started sharing my app and talking to people, writing their information down if I wanted to have a further conversation with them. I already had their phone number. It was just, do I want to get an email and work forward with them? That's just sort of how the evolution worked. But the direction you go is up to you, and how you want to set that up is up to you. What I did say, so when I had my iPad and people were signing in on the iPad, when I had my paper, what I would say was very specific script. Everyone is signing in right here. And then be quiet. Because if you start talking to them, they will stop filling out the information. Okay, so you have to remember that. Everyone is signing in right here. And then don't say anything until they're done. And then when they look back up, they're done, right? But give them the time because you're going to be excited. So you're going to want to talk to them. And you start talking to them, they start talking to you, and then they don't hit submit or they don't finish their information. So just really important piece. Now, little pro tip, do a live video every time you do an open house. Why not? You're there, right? We're communicating with our sphere that we're actually actively doing real estate. We're communicating and have an information piece of value, right? Talk about something that is current, right? Right now, what's going on with interest rates? Give a little nugget in your, don't just, here I'm sitting in open house. Here I'm sitting in open house. Here I'm sitting in open house, right? Get creative, give them some information. Renata, yes.
Yeah, so let's say I'm going to other open houses and I'm doing like a blog of what's happening this weekend on Maui with open houses. Who do I need authorization from to record inside someone else's houses? The listing agent or the seller?
Listing agent.
Okay.
Ask the listing agent for permission. I've only been told no once. Can I post pictures inside the property? And it was a very exclusive property. And she's like, they're really weird about their privacy. So I'm going to say no.
And would you get that in writing, like an email or?
No, I just asked.
Like verbally, it's okay. Okay.
No, because we do it on Caravan. We'll be like, hey, can I shoot a quick video of your kitchen and post it on social media? And they're like, yeah, get it sold. Or can I take a couple pictures of the bathroom or the backyard or the whatever? Just tell them, just ask. And the listing agent will let you know.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Thank
they'll
you.
either say yes or they'll say no. Yeah. And that's why sometimes I just did the view, because you don't need permission to do the out, right? Looking out away. So I would do that one often as a little video to post. But yeah, caravans are a great time to get photos and things that you can post for the week. Nice. Okay, so shooting a video. Also, there's lots of different things that you can do to beef up your open house. And we're gonna look at a sheet in a minute that I'm gonna share with you guys. But let's talk about follow-up. So obviously, we wanna put them on some sort of a smart plan campaign in command, right? We wanna follow up with them consistently. And we wanna make sure that we're having a conversation with them that's relevant to who they are. So know who your people are that are coming into your open house, right? Like for example, I used to have, I'd have Canadians, I'd have open house, mainland, open house, Maui. Those were really my 3 conversation smart plans I would have that would be the follow-up, right? Because I don't want to say to somebody who lives on Maui, oh, hey, wouldn't it be nice to own a place on Maui? And they're like, okay, I live here and I own here, right? What are you talking about? It's a disconnected message. So I would have the conversation for the mainland people. I would have a conversation for Maui people. And then I'd have a conversation for Canadians, because sometimes I needed to add in some information for Canadians. Different conversation when you're dealing with Canadians, right? So you want to have some sort of follow-up campaign with them. And maybe that is something that tailors into a neighborhood nurture, right? So you want to go and look at the smart campaigns that are already created. There are so many in the library, right? I know Rochelle's taken you guys through that already, so you know about that. If you're ever setting up your open house smart campaigns, Carrie, can people set time with you on Oahu just like they can with Latasha on Maui?
Absolutely. And then even knowing like Latasha's until noon in the afternoon, if you guys on Maui wanted to take a look at that, you guys can schedule time with me as well. And,
okay, great.
And smart plan, like for me, when I was sitting in open house, 40% of the time people don't pick up. Or actually 40% of the time they do pick up, 60 they don't. They've signed in. That's their okay for follow-up, right? They don't pick up. I'm putting them, I know the neighborhood that the open house was in, I'm putting them on a neighborhood smart plan.
Yeah, I would actually do, mine was sort of a follow-up for the first 2 weeks of a little more tailored. It was great meeting you at the open house. I want to get more details about what you're interested in, whatever it was. And then it went into, let's just do the neighborhood nurture as the continuation, right? So Maui, yeah, you guys can reach out to Latasha and schedule time with her. Once you start getting into your open houses and doing that, say, okay, I want to schedule some time so I have my smart plans in place and ready to roll, because you just want plug and plays, right? That's what.
And
that's
Nicole was talking about, now this isn't follow-up, make the best use of her time. I like what, remember she's saying she's working her LP Mama script. The last A is appointment.
Yep.
You're spending 4 hours, 5 hours there, like book an appointment.
Yep.
Hey, that's a great question. Or this is another great property for you. When's the best time to chat about that? And book an appointment there. And then the rest of it is like we're talking about pipeline building and relationship building, right?
Yeah, there were times that I absolutely booked appointments there and no reason not to. By the way, if the property is vacant, I'm done at 5. Why don't you come back at 5? I just close everything up, right? Pull the directionals. You can still have the street signs, just nobody knows where to go, right? Yeah, and you just have the appointment there. I'd always have a packet ready for a buyer. I always have a buyer packet ready, prepped and prepared so that you can have that meeting right then and there. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Things start showing up when you show up. All right, so another pro tip. So as you're finishing your open house, you leave, you pick up all your signs, and then you pull over to the side of the road and you text everyone from the open house and say, it was great meeting you today. Just wanted to touch base and see if you saw any other properties that were of interest to you. Don't think they weren't going to other open houses, because they were. But I guarantee you, if you do that, you'll be the only agent that does that. That's a great follow-up. All right, So we make sure we do the follow-up because that's really important. We do the planning ahead of time. I want to share with you guys now. I hesitate sharing this in the very beginning because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. This is somebody who does open houses at a really high level. The key for open houses is get going and then add layers, right? Add them as Facebook events eventually. Add, your live videos. Just get through the first one, like just put your signs out. I don't care if they have flags, just get somebody through the door. Because initially it's just the nerves, right? We just have to get past that point and just be like, oh, that was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. By the way, it will be. They're very happy to hang out and talk with you for a little bit. So this I want to share with you though, because this is a pretty good sheet. And I want to walk you through just a few things in the open house folder. Let me get in here and show you what collateral you guys have. By the way, you have a couple things in your notebooks as well. So notice we've got an entire open house folder in here. All right, these were just examples of flyers that I had. So this is what I was talking about when I said I just use a basic large photo brochure. Address, price, fee simple, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, land square footage. And this is a house, so it doesn't have HOA fees, but it would. Really simple information, right? This is a large photo brochure when you're in our MLS RAM. All right, and adding open houses to Paragon. You can actually, if you're the listing agent, you can add open houses to Paragon and have it, it'll go out to all the places that Paragon or MLS system feeds to, right? So Zillow, Realtor.com, it will all say it's having an open house. So this is the way to do that. That would be for the listing agent to do. Oh, these are door signs. So Lee Potts is awesome. He does great open houses. So he puts that on the door. Again, you guys can copy these. These are your sign order forms in case you want to order some open house signs. Like I said, 3 max of the big signs. Don't buy more than 3 of the big signs. Let's see, we've got an open house attendance sheet, open house checklist. So this, I think, is the list of all the things that you could bring to an open house. I believe that's what this is. Yeah, all kinds of things. Like I used to bring hammers and bungee. I never needed any of these things. So, by the way, on Maui, I always use sandbags. That's how I held down my signs. And you need something to hold down your signs because the wind will blow them over. And don't think because it's not windy when you start that breeze isn't coming, because it's going to blow. So just be really smart about that. All right, couple items. Let's see what else we got in here. Another open house checklist. There's quite a few of them. So this is a sheet I wanted to show you. This is an open house video strategy. Now this is a link to the video. I want you guys for your homework to watch this. This lady's amazing. She's a RE/MAX agent. She's not a KW agent, but I just think she's so smart with what she does. Marion found this once and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so smart. So she creates an event. This is our open house strategy, right? It's the whole thing. Creates an event on open house. Create a Facebook ad for the event. That's going to be a paid ad. Post in the event the morning of the open house, the teaser post. Film the live event. She says great quality, great sound, and branding requirements you definitely need to put in there. She does a YouTube, download the SRT file, upload thumbnail graphics, create in command. I don't even know what SRT files are. This woman's like really advanced. I couldn't catch number 6. So if you guys can catch it and send it to me, that'd be awesome. Create ad for video, edit on desktop, upload the thumbnail, add video to your website, add video to LinkedIn, video email, bomb to your database. So remember we were talking about how you can send emails of videos through bomb. That is a second or an outside third-party software, so you will pay for that if you use that. Put the video tour on the MLS. Day before event, do 3-piece grid system on later.com for Instagram. So that's Instagram. Then you create an Instagram ad, create a countdown on Insta stories. I'm assuming you can still do this, but I don't do a whole lot on Instagram. Morning of, add to Insta stories. Shoot a live open house, daylight stabilizer, good sound, smile, be loud and clear. Be you on this video and always end in a good location. Lee Potts pro tip is if you're in a property with a view, Always end with your back to the view. So they're looking at the view while they're talking to you. Nothing will sell a property more than a view, you guys. All right. And in a good location, have CTA or call to action, tag and share. Do this weekly for consistency. Upload to Insta TV and preview, add to Instagram feed, be in the Insta app, upload the thumbnail, use descriptions and hashtags, 24-hour post link to Insta TV, reuse Insta TV link, price reduction, special features, etc. So it's a lot she does. So this is why I don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed, but if you could pick one or two things just to do to get a little bit, a little bit more going on. And I want you all to watch her video. This is the link. So check it out as your homework. We are in open houses, open house video strategy. All right, fair enough. Okay. There's also an open house feedback form. So these are like, traditional forms that you can ask people what they think of things. I've never used one of these, but we like to give you whatever you might use. Unit number, make sure if you're in a development, you make sure, or a condo development, you put a unit number so people know where they're going. These are some vacation rental basics to know and your mindset for open house. So feel free to dive through that whole folder and check out what's in there. And sorry, I'm looking at Bomb. Can you found in the KW Marketplace in command? Yes, so you can connect to Bomb. Carrie, awesome, thank you. Smart plans. Yes, okay. All right, you guys. So when we start getting more inventory and open houses become a little bit more prevalent and available, we're going to have Lee Potts do his open house class again. He's great. He's the one who taught me to do open houses. We do them very differently now because you find your style, but he teaches a really great open house class. So we'll bring his open house class back once those are available. We just found that agents were taking the class and then couldn't find open houses. So it was a little bit frustrating. So we just wanted to make sure we touched on them for you guys in Ignite, but we will bring him back to teach that class once they're more available. That being said, go out and find some. People are still having some open houses, so don't be afraid to, pound the pavement and find the listings that are available. All right, so we're going to wrap up our day. I'm going to wrap up with something that I said earlier. I was going to read to you guys. So let me pull it up. So this is actually from Aristotle. It says, and this was relating to what we were talking about earlier. Anyone can be angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person to the right degree at the right time for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not easy. Remember we were talking about frustration earlier and it messing with you? Just thought that was kind of cool. All right, you guys, give me a couple ahas for today and we will wrap you up. You guys overwhelmed? Alan's like, your eyes like ready to cross.
Can I break the ice?
Yes, Carrie.
The aha, just amazed at the overwhelming resources. And I hate to backtrack and try and erase the word overwhelming, but there's so many great resources at your guys' fingertips. Like just wow. So cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Use them, and you won't use them all. And it's not meant for you to use them all. It's just, like I said, there's sheets in there that we put in there because I was like, some of them want this, but other agents are gonna be like, no, I'm gonna do something different. It's your business, right? You pick what you want.
Is it first presentation that you went through on the share drive, or that's something different?
Are you talking about the social media?
Yes.
Those, I think the majority of those are in your binders.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. If there's anything that I missed that's not in your binder, let me know. I can send you a copy of it.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, give me a couple more ahas and I'll let you guys go.
Hey, Nicole.
Okay, I'm gonna go
Go ahead.
Candace and then Kimberly.
Okay, for me, it was the part where you said people want to know your flaws. That was a big aha for me.
Absolutely. Think about the people you love the most. Don't you think their flaws are cute? You're like, that's why I like them, because they're not perfect, right? Yeah, that's why you love people, because they're imperfect.
For
Thanks,
me,
Candace.
yes.
I love that. Good stuff. Kimberly.
I just kind of wanted to add a little bit of gratitude to this training and kind of like a big thank you to you and all the coaches, because I've learned so much in such a short amount of time, and it's kind of taken off the stress just knowing the coaches I have available, and then hearing the other agents kind of like what they're going through, that I'm not alone, because it's been kind of like, I don't know, I've had like lonely moments in the business. So this has been a breath of fresh air for me. So I just really, really thank you. Thank Carrie, everyone that's available for us. It's really awesome. I am number one, like hands down, all about Keller Williams. Like, this is awesome.
Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah, that's it. This can be a lonely business. And that's why I tell you guys, if you can get back into caravans, like go to Caravan. I mean, it was such a realization that was probably like a year ago when it hit me that the brand new agents don't even have like Caravan, where you go look at properties with people from other companies. It's like you meet people, right? And you guys don't have that. And I'm sorry you don't have that. So if you can get back into doing caravans and getting out there and meeting agents, because it can get lonely. Find your tribe, right? That's another reason. And my husband and I were having a conversation about this because he does the script practice, and he's probably going to take it over from Marcus. And he goes, you know, it's not just the script practice, it's also having a tribe. It's having the people in that class that you get to know, you know, and we need those connections. We're humans, right? We need that. So yeah, absolutely. Reach out. One of the things that always surprises me is with KW, like we're such a family of agents that always want to help other agents, right? Everybody is, even the really successful agents. And I tell my new agents, I go, you know, you could walk up to a Todd Hudson and say, hey, Todd, you got 10 minutes or 15 minutes to talk, and, you know, buy him a coffee or something. And Todd will talk to you for 15 minutes. He's not like, oh, I can't talk to you, you're a brand new agent, right? He's like, I will totally talk to you. But new agents don't take advantage of that. And like, talk to these agents that are successful, you know, tell them what you got going on. They will totally sit down with you. That's what KW is all about, is the sharing culture. And that's one of the things I love about it, is the, you know, we're here to help. So if you're feeling that way, Kimberly, reach out and go to lunch with one of your fellow agents, and you guys can, you know, swap the stories of how you're feeling. And I mean, you have to go through those things sometimes. So, and I'm so happy that you found a lot of value from this, because we put our heart into this training, and I love that we have this for you guys. Awesome. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you.
All right, one more. You guys are like, we're tired. No, you guys are like, I can't top that. All right, we'll let Kimberly sign it out with that. That was awesome. All right, tomorrow is your graduation day. So we will have, like I said, Michelle, and then Christy is going to join us, and we'll probably get out early tomorrow, a little bit early anyway. And you guys have a wonderful evening, afternoon, and I will see you all tomorrow for our final day.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Aloha.
Bye, guys.
Aloha.